So, welcome back to another episode of the Nothing to Do podcast. I'm your host, I am your host, Jeremy. I can't even do this introduction properly now at this point. This is take 3 of episode 62. This is the second time I'm 0 for 2 with my guests right now. Before I introduce them. So, last week, if you tuned in, you may have noticed that the Spotify episode was about 2.5 hours and the YouTube episode was only about 1.5 hours. That is because I forgot to hit the record button on the video. So this time everything was going smoothly, right? I had made sure that the video was recording and the audio was recording. We did some tests. We actually did like 3 or 4 tests, and I must have knocked over the plug for the Roadcaster while I was pouring champagne, because we're about 40 minutes in, and about 20 minutes in, because it was about 10 minutes of warm up, when I realized that I see no feedback on either the audio or video.
Jeremy fucked up.
So Jeremy fucked up. But welcome back to another episode. I am joined by 2 lovely guests today, Alex and Erin, 2 very close and dear friends of mine who are basically like family at this point. And welcome, guys. Thank you for redoing this episode for me. I think this is like take 3 at this point. How we doing?
I'll do as many takes as you need, my love.
Oh my God. Yeah. Listen.
As Erin said, we were spinning gold, and
we were spinning gold. We were getting a lot
There's
of.
fucking more where that came from.
That's true. We have a whole other bottle of champagne left.
That's right. And also now, I mean, we started our initial recording sober, and now we no longer are, and that may be to the listener's benefit.
I think you're right. There. As we were warming up, though, we were talking about, the phrase is "son of a gun."
Yeah,
it's a strange phrase, and we were trying to figure out the origins of this, and Alex was actually in the process of explaining that to us, and we figured
said no.
For some reason we feel like this is going to be a great story. So take it away, Alex. Go ahead.
My dad explained this to me when I was younger, like probably 10. He told me that it was because when babies used to be born on ships, they would use a cannon to shoot the baby out of the pregnant woman's stomach.
What?
They would shoot it from their back, I guess, like facing their back, and the cannon would go through and the baby would shoot out.
And would this kill the mother?
So
but
I think
not
they
kill
would
the
put
baby?
the mom in the cannon?
This was for an infidelity situation.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
But I told him this recently. I was like, "Do you remember that explanation?" And he was like, "No." He's like, "I never."
Was he just was he hammered?
Maybe it was
Were
a
you
dream
hammered?
you had.
Maybe it was a dream. I don't know, but
Wouldn't that be son of a
Either way,
cannon?
This is a fever dream you had? Is this a fever dream you had, maybe?
Fever
That
dream.
would have been a really rambunctious fever dream for a 10-year-old.
So wait, can you bring it was at 10 years old you asked him this?
I think so. Yeah, I was 10 years old.
Oh, okay. So wait, but
It stuck with me ever since.
so but the idea was that you put the woman in the cannon, and the pressure from
You make
lighting
her
the cannon,
stay and stand in front of the cannon.
Yeah,
they would stand in front of the cannon,
And they just shoot the baby.
and they shoot the cannon.
through her stomach, and the baby would
That's also giving thrones.
shoot out.
That is giving thrones. That is very much giving thrones.
Pretty cool, right?
Speaking of giving thrones, that came about because we were talking about the Red Witch of real life.
Yeah, the
Giselle.
real witch. Giselle
I
Bundchen.
explained the theory of Tom Brady and Giselle and her being a conspiracy of her being a witch. I broke this down last week too, and I don't know if I want to get into the whole Tara thing again. But yeah, that's
touch on it.
yeah. Well, basically, like, Brady retired at 45, which is supposed to be a new beginning in tarot and numeric shit, but he was only retired for 40 days, and 40 means
Where your heart belongs.
where your heart and your soul truly belongs to, and belongs to the game, baby.
It's his boys.
It's his boys. But listen, they're divorced. He's like 0-4.
They
over
did
the
not
last 4
release
weeks.
a joint statement. They did their own statements.
They did their own
on the
statement.
Notes
Yeah,
app.
he actually went public with it a couple days ago, and my boy's going through some dark times. And I think it's starting to look like that she may have actually been his Red Witch, because he is losing games, a lot of games.
I find that to be very interesting, and we'll see what's to come. Because I mean, he's like, how long has he been playing? Like 20 years?
Yeah, 22 years.
It's a pretty unimpeachable record, and now things are coming undone.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the variable?
That's right. Giselle. Well,
His allegiance to
I
Giselle.
will say his allegiance to Giselle. I will say that I don't think they started dating or got married to like 04.
You know, it's actually
And he
their
already won a-
relationship. The start of it is very interesting.
Oh, please tell. You know what? I want you to. I'm gonna go crack open the other bottle of champagne.
Crack
Or
it
get-
open.
or
Careful
get
there,
it. Get,
Jeremy,
no,
don't
no,
Yeah,
step
but
on
don't
anything.
you step near that little wire.
As long as we're getting feedback.
Respect the plugs. Okay, well,
Tell us about Giselle.
I don't want to get like any of there's I'll elaborate. So before Tom Brady dated Giselle, he was dating another semi-famous actress of the 90s named Bridget Moynihan. Ladies listening to the podcast will know her. Oh, someone is
Let me check.
buzzing. I'll go on. If there's any ladies listening to the podcast today.
Introduce the celebrity segment, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
This
this
is
is
Erin's
our
celebrity segment.
Celeb segment. And now I'm alone on the mic, so it's really my segment. But he used to date a woman named Bridget Moynihan, a relatively famous actress of the 90s. I think she's best known for her role as Natasha, Big's wife after Carrie in the iconic show Sex and the City.
I'm just at this part now.
It's a very special arc. Lots happens.
Ooh.
Wonderful. So he was dating Bridget first. I think they dated for like 3 years. They broke up amicably. I was looking this up last night in preparation. I want to say it was like they listed the date of their breakup. So it's like it was very final. And then very shortly thereafter, he started dating Giselle. And shortly thereafter that, it was the news broke that Bridget Moynihan was pregnant with his baby. So she gives birth to this baby. He's already with Giselle. And then they have, from my understanding, reading various tabloids, a pretty contentious co-parenting situation for a few years. But then they find a way to make it work.
Okay.
Giselle really like puts in the effort. She, you know, I think somewhat of the glue of this 3-person co-parenting situation. Is a beautiful story.
So I didn't even know Brady had a kid with another baby mom's.
I believe his name is Jack. I believe he's about 15 now.
Is that the one that he was kissing and making out with?
I think that's Giselle's kid.
That's Giselle's kid.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh man. Well, yeah, you learn something new every day. And then he proceeded to become the greatest quarterback of NFL history. So,
Yeah.
and now his career. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're only about 3 weeks into this funk, and maybe Tom Brady can dig into the reserves and really save the season. But there's
For
something
the Buccaneers,
with the
right?
Buccaneers. But there's something to be said about his relationship with Giselle having a linear correlation with his NFL record right now in 2022.
Well, he's a
2023
workaholic,
season.
and that's a tale as old as time as far as men
That's
and women
true.
go. Women
That
get
is true.
tired of that
Yeah.
because, I mean, she had her heyday in her early 20s. I
That's right.
don't know when she would have technically retired. I bet she does like a job a year that is all she ever needs to do, if that.
Totally.
She wants to chill. She probably wants to travel, and
Yeah.
he's got to,
Sit on the beach.
yeah, and he can't do that but he can't stop. He loves it.
He has an itch. Like,
Yeah.
he probably just can't imagine just like, he's probably
It's a
35 days in
masculine
and was
trait.
like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like, I don't know what to, he probably just doesn't know
He can't sit
how
on
to
a beach.
live a regular, normal
No.
day. Like, without, and he's not going to be on like, he's not going to be an analyst. He's not going to be like one of those fucking NFL pundits, you know? So like, yeah, he's going to play until his
He's a
fucking leg falls
workaholic.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be the best thing for him. Ooh, maybe shouldn't say that on this podcast.
We're speaking of manifestation, right?
No. I'm a poor manifester, so I'm not worried about that. But maybe he needs God to help him slow down.
Maybe. That's true.
He doesn't have God in his life.
No, I mean like an act of God.
Oh.
Oh, that's rather spicy.
I hope nothing bad befalls
I don't
Tom
think
Brady.
you're
I hope
poor
nothing bad top.
manifester.
Listen, Brady, I still love you, man. I love you.
You love him even though he's with the Buccaneers now?
I do. I mean, I'm still a Patriots fan. I'm still rooting, but like, of course, I still love him.
That's interesting.
He
See, I
brought
don't
us 6 rings. He gave us 6 championships.
But then he left.
But then he left because there was just the run was over. There was no fit. They weren't gonna give him money, and that's that.
I feel like that's
It was
really
mutual. It
forgiving
was
of
mutual.
you.
Yeah,
And I admire that.
he didn't leave shittily. Like, it wasn't like.
I love
But I'm also like a big
persisting.
LeBron fan. But like how like Cleveland hated LeBron for a while because of the way he left.
Yeah.
He sat in a studio like we're sitting right now and was like, I'm gonna take my talent to South Beach because I'm LeBron James and I'm doing all this shit.
These athletes are just bigger than the teams. It's like
Some of
bigger
them,
than
Yeah. But then he went back to Cleveland.
I
He got him
see
a chip,
that.
and everything was swell. You know,
They forgave him. They took him
they
back.
forgave him. They took him back.
Interesting. These teams are kind of cucked.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Do you guys? You guys are like obviously up on like. Well, it's been a year now. Remember how Alec Baldwin literally killed somebody?
Oh God. Yeah.
So like, in like the most psycho like savage move, he like posted a picture of
I
the
saw
person
that.
he killed, and it was like 1 year ago today with like a broken heart. And I'm just like, this is like.
I'm kind of an Alec
This
Baldwin
dude-
sympathizer, but he is like, he's been unhinged for a long
That's
time.
like some unhinged ass behavior,
He's
though.
kind of like the white Kanye. In a way.
He's like the white. Oh, he might be the white. I don't even know. That's a whole nother. We're gonna get into that.
What else
You know,
is he
matter of fact,
supposed
let's
to
pour.
do,
Let's get a refill. I'm gonna. You guys are gonna have to pour your own drinks right now because I don't want to risk
I think that would be safest.
destroying this.
I honestly think I saw that headline and I was like, that's fine. He accidentally killed someone. What is he going to do? Ignore
That's fine. He committed manslaughter.
It was definitely an accident. Maybe he should have been more careful though.
Is he
I
gonna
could
ignore
see
the
that.
anniversary?
I just think the unhinged part is for him to just be like, damn, 1 year ago today. Like it's like that's fucking
But
wild,
he's
bro.
coming from a place of unhinged at all times. Like
He
from
also
day
has
dot.
like 10 kids with this lady and is expecting
Oh,
and
with
they have one up
Gladia?
with Gladia. Super baddie Colombian lady.
She's not even Colombian.
Whatever what is
She's
she?
from Connecticut.
She's from the armpit of the United
No,
States.
she is like not
Anything.
Latino, Hispanic in any
Nuh-uh.
way. She is.
She's like
a
Rachel Dolezal is
fraud.
what you're telling me?
Yes.
No way. What's her name? I gotta look this up now.
Hilaria Baldwin.
Hilaria
Oh,
Baldwin.
I'm glad I'm breaking this to you. This is fun.
See, this is a celebrity
This is what
I
we
was
mean,
looking
yeah.
for.
This like was in the news about a year ago too. I think maybe a little before this happened.
Oh,
with
I
Alec.
definitely see how she could pass.
She has been
Yeah.
putting on an accent fully
Oh my
for her
god.
entire public
That's wild.
career.
Hilaria Baldwin.
She is
Nah.
She lived in Spain for like summers occasionally as a youth, and was like, you know what, this is me.
Wait, so
Crazy.
time out. But she claims to be Colombian, is what it is,
I don't think it's Colombian. I think she claims to be Spanish.
or not Spanish. Hold on, not
like
Spanish.
Spain Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy just invented the fact that she was Colombian.
That's
Well,
some
she was
wishful
like, I mean, her
thinking.
name is Hilaria.
Hilaria Baldwin.
Is that not the most Hispanic name ever? Hilaria, the
Hillary.
strange story of Alec Baldwin's
Hillary.
wife
I'm
and her
pretty sure
fake
born Hillary.
Spanish roots. Oh my goodness, what?
I think born Hillary.
Born? Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, that's Hillary.
Yeah.
Her name is Hillary. That's the whitest name ever
Yeah.
Crazy.
She grew up in Connecticut.
in the whitest state ever.
So he's already wildin' like with that.
And they have like 30 kids, and she's like has another one like.
They keep popping them
he's
out.
like about to be 70.
They're using surrogates now too and having like 2 at a time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think maybe that happened once, maybe twice though.
How does that work? Having surrogates, like, is it just you put like the sperm and the egg on in some other lady? Is it
There's
like
a couple ways to
Is there?
make it
She
work.
has no blood relation to this child.
I think typically
No
you
DNA
make
or-
an
You're asking
embryo.
the right woman. She feels like she has a calling.
Yeah, I think that I'll be a surrogate at some point in my life.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Let's dive into that a little more. Can we? Or like, a little bit?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel very called to that. I definitely want to have my own kids. And I just imagine there's a possibility that someone in my life would need help with that. And if they did, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Wow.
would do it like transactionally,
Like to get
like
paid,
through an
you mean?
agency or to get paid or anything, but I would do it for a friend or a family member
Oh, wow.
for sure.
I did not know that this was like a thing you were.
It came to me kind of recently.
Okay. Yeah.
It
Wow.
was weird. If I was religious, I would almost think it was like a,
Yeah, you had like a wave wash over you.
yeah, where I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to do this. Cause I was talking to a friend whose brother,
Mic to your mouth. Mic to your
oh,
mouth.
sorry. I was talking to a friend whose brother and wife are having like a really intense difficulty conceiving and they're looking for a surrogate.
Mm.
And I was like, should I just do it for them? And I was like, I obviously can't. It's like not a good time in my life and I don't really know them. But I was just feeling like how sad I felt for them that they're having such a hard time finding someone that they don't have anyone in their life that would do it for them because they're looking at agencies and stuff. And it's tough. But I also think there's a lot to say about like that industry. Like I think doing it privately for a friend or family member is one thing, but the industry of surrogacy I think is kind of dark. And
Yeah.
I mean, like why?
Like in terms of just like the people, like it's just very much like a capitalistic. Like I'm just trying to get paid to do this.
Yeah.
As opposed to like helping a family who's
and
really
it's
trying
immense emotional
to
toll. And
conceive.
if it's not someone you know,
Right.
then it's I think that would be really hard actually. And I think there's some ethics at question there. But
Is it more on like on the surrogate side of like that's like or the family, like does the family usually, is it like a thing that like the family imposes way too much on the surrogate
well,
and then
it's
it's just
something that really
very
only
murky?
rich people can afford. It's like
Right.
prohibitively, I mean, expensive isn't
Right.
even the right word. It's like, I can't imagine. I don't know how much it costs. Tens of thousands
Mhm.
for sure. So like it's something only rich people have access to anyway. And then something probably only people that need that kind of money
Mm-hmm.
are going to be offering like their bodies for such a rigorous and potentially life-threatening ordeal.
Yeah. Wow. But this is something you're like really
I mean,
considering.
if anyone needs it.
Right. No, I'm not. I'm not like trying. But like, you want to be a part of this? No.
I think I kind of do.
But
I want
that's-
to like
that's a
help
beautiful thing.
someone who I want to help a family that people that should be parents if for whatever reason they can't, because infertility is on the rise. It's
Mm.
crazy. I mean, that's God willing that my fertility is all right. You know.
Mm-hmm. Handmaid's Tale, isn't that like the premise of Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's like
That's like a whole nother thing, right?
a whole other thing. That's more like very forced. But yeah, that's like fertility. Sorry, I keep moving the mic
No,
away.
it's fine,
That
it's
in
fine.
the Handmaid's Tale, it's like the environment's gotten so bad that women are just simply not fertile anymore. So they round
Mhm.
up the few that are and
And
do
just pump
bad
'em
things
out.
to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I've
That
checked
show's
out.
gotten out of control. I won't watch it anymore.
I've checked out. We'll have to read the summary on Wikipedia.
Yeah, we'll read the synopsis.
Is it like, does it have an end date, or are they just still pumping out
It
seasons?
should have ended 2 seasons ago, but
How many seasons is
apparently they have one happening right now, so that's like 5.
5. I feel like unless you're going off a text, I feel like 5 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, and they've
That's-
gone past the text because that was
Yeah.
a book, obviously, but they went past that
There's,
after the
there's
first
not
season.
there's not much compelling and engaging storytelling you can still develop after 5 seasons of like a live action like drama series, I feel.
And just like the world has changed since that show started. I mean,
Mhm.
not so much, but I think everyone's general awareness has. And like, it's just not that cute to watch like white women cosplaying like the oppressed
Sure,
class.
Yeah. No, it's weird. It's weird.
Didn't age well.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's not
like,
aging
there's
well.
I mean, I'm trying. Let's like, what shows do you think of? I have a couple listed right now. Shows that ended perfect timing, right?
Oh, yeah, do
Sopranos,
yours.
maybe.
Sopranos.
Sopranos.
I didn't watch, but I will. one
Breaking
day.
Bad
Didn't finish.
didn't finish. 5 seasons, ended perfectly. There was each season was better than the last season. The climax of the last season was beautiful. Let's see what else. I haven't finished Atlanta, but I know Atlanta is on the 4th and final season.
I'm not caught up either.
So I think I watched like the first 3 episodes of the 3rd season, but like because they came out with season 1 and 2 years later season 2, and they took like a 4-year break, and then season 3 and 4 basically came out like
I hate when
6
they
months
do that
apart.
though. That's why it's hard. Like I was so into the first season
Yeah.
of Atlanta, and then when they take those long breaks,
Mhm.
that's
Oh,
why
that's
I forget what happened.
I feel like Ozark
Yeah.
was that. Do you guys watch Ozark?
Alex just did it all.
Oh, I did. Yes, I watched. Oh, that did end well. That ended a great.
That ended well. So, but my point with Ozark though, it was one of those shows that there was too much because I started from the beginning. So like, if you binged it, if you got a chance to binge all 4 seasons,
We binged.
then
That's
everything
lucky.
was fresh in your head. But like, there is so much politics and like a lot of bullshit
Mhm.
like within it. So that like when each season was like 2-3 years apart, it's like you come back to season 4, it's like, who the fuck is this? What's going on here?
Well, that's what they're about to do to us with dragons, and I can't stand it.
Are you watching Dragons? I was talking about this with Connor.
I fucking love it.
No, there's no way it's
Oh,
good. There's no way it's good.
I'm here to tell you, if my word means anything to you,
It does.
I
It does.
love it.
And so maybe I'll try. But listen,
It's different,
They-
but I think it's really good.
they the way they fucked up the last 2 seasons of that show, there's no way they
But there's
can
a whole
convince-
different writing team.
There's just no way you can convince me they can make
I agree with
anything
you.
as compelling as the 4, 5, 6 seasons of Game of Thrones without
It's
a
different.
text. Without a text.
Well, they
that
have a
they
text.
reference.
There is a text.
There's a reference text.
Yeah,
there?
the
Okay.
reference text is the Dance of Dragons, which is like a Bible-styled book where you have a couple different unreliable narrators recounting histories of the Targaryen family.
Oh, okay.
But it's not as like narrative based as Game of Thrones was as a book. So then they're kind of filling in the gaps of like that lack of narrative with the show. I thought it was excellent. I was very hesitant going into it, especially because it seemed like they were kind of wokeifying it in this weird way at first. But it ended last week, and I sorely miss it.
Oh,
it's really
all
good.
right. Well, maybe you might have just spun me around to watch the first episode of that show, but there was no up until this very moment.
You haven't even
no
watched
way.
the first episode.
Oh no!
So you're gonna probably not
no
really
way.
like the first two, but then after that, you're gonna get
But
locked.
the fact that I can binge it is gonna help. Like
It'll help a lot.
You know,
waiting every week was hard.
So, yeah. I don't know. What do you? Those are like those in terms of shows that I feel like ended perfectly. That's one. Like The Office could have been one of those shows, but they decided to do two
like
seasons
Veep,
without
right? Veep was like ended,
Michael
I feel
Scott.
like,
And
well.
that sucked.
I don't know.
What do you think, Al?
We've got sports and TV on the docket, and both of these things I really don't engage with.
We weren't even talking about sports. We were just talking about Tom Brady and Giselle.
Yeah,
Well, you had the thing is that so Alex before we realized that we weren't recording had like a beautiful monologue about her complex summer emotionally.
Yeah,
Anxiety.
complex summer emotions.
And maybe we'll revisit that because we were talking a lot about manifestation and this, that, and the third, which is and like honestly, I was gonna follow up with that, and I was gonna reveal something on the show that I have not revealed on the show yet.
Oh my God, a reveal.
A reveal. I think you guys may know already, but anyway, it's not a big deal, but it's just like, but yeah, I mean, it had to do with stuff that you were talking about,
and I set you up again.
I mean, if you feel like I feel like that was such an. I mean, like do you want to retell how your summer went this year? Like,
Of course.
I think you should.
It's why
It was relatable.
No, because it's wild. It is relatable, and it's just like because you guys are so good at like getting up and doing shit. That just like the fact that you felt like maybe you haven't like that you were very like you felt unsettled this summer for like I found it caught me off guard, and I was like damn, did anything specific happen? I know you were like in transition within jobs, and you finally I said this last week, she secured a full-time job at this dope spot, which again, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Big ups.
But yeah, I mean like that's yeah.
Yeah, I was saying I had my summer. I was having a super anxious summer, and I think I was debating what it was about, but I think the whole summer I felt really unsettled, and I felt really anxious, and I'm not even really sure why that was happening, but my only guess is that I think I was trying to fit so much in, and because we only have these 3 precious months of summer, and I was just going, and I was hot, and I was sweaty, and I was over it, and now that fall is here, I think I'm feeling a lot better. And I was saying I think that this music festival that I went to in September healed my anxiety.
Sustain release.
That Connor and I ended up working at, because I was hanging out with like a lot of cool people. The music was really good. It was really nice to be in a space where my only priorities were hanging out with people and dancing. And
the bikini bar. Where'd you work?
I worked at this place called Bikini Grill that was started by Angelina Dream, who lives upstate.
What a lovely name.
Yeah, it's a lovely name.
That is a great
Angelina
name.
Dream.
She's a lovely person, and she runs a burger stand there. So I worked all day on Saturday slinging burgers at that burger stand, and that healed my anxiety, apparently.
You were a changed woman when you returned.
Yes, I felt like I was telling Erin, I felt like I was like 16 because I haven't had that experience in a while where you come back from a party or an event and you just can't stop talking about it. You can't stop thinking about it. I was like writing.
It's
in my
become a part of
journal
you.
about it. And yeah, I think I'm wearing fall much better than I was wearing summer. I was kind of like at parties and just feeling like I couldn't really like sit still. I was like fidgeting with things, drinking more heavily to try to
like out of boredom.
Out of boredom, yeah. And I think we were saying before,
which I certainly do.
yeah,
well.
like we're
At
trying
times.
to get to the summit and
I'm
Yeah.
kind of
Of-
I'm in a
fun.
little stretch of my life right now that I'm trying to get over that drinking out of boredom and
Yeah.
like
totally.
It can sneak up on you too, and it's so hard
Yeah.
to stay present with that.
And it does.
Yeah.
It ends up doing the opposite because you kind of like render yourself useless,
right.
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, now I've
And it
created a
pretty-
worse
yeah,
situation for
It
myself.
pretty rarely like reinvigorates you. I think if anything, it makes me more negative. If I'm at a party and it's like the vibes aren't what I want them to be, I won't even say they're off, and then I'm like, it's not right. And then I
Oh,
get
and you're
drunker,
you're
and then I start saying it out
You're
loud.
notorious for yeah. You're notorious for calling shit out as it is as the drinks flow, which we love, but it can be taxing
It's a double-edged
sometimes.
sword. It's a double-edged
It's very much a
sword.
double-edged sword. Yeah, no, that's. I mean, like that's even just like the because you even you mentioned that like you haven't had an experience like that with this festival since you were like 21, right?
Are you talking about
Which
as
is,
a music project?
Like yeah,
When you talk about that experience? Because that was mine.
Yeah, or maybe like when I went to maybe like South Africa or something. Like
When you
just-
travels.
Yeah, like I've definitely had like incredible experiences that sort of like changed me a bit, but it was just
Pivotal.
the music festival was notable because it was just so cheesy. I was like really taken by this music festival. And
Is it kind of like Wook energy?
no, it wasn't. It was like cool New York DJ. Like everyone was like a DJ.
Cute.
But yeah, I think I could have gone to of either
You made a
ways
new
in my life.
BFF,
I made a
Patty.
new BFF Patty who
Shout out Patty.
Shout out Patty who
Shout out
I took
Patty.
the bus with on the way up, and they told me they were 23, but really they were 22. They stretched it by 1 year.
I feel like a lot of young people have been flocking to you lately, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
I know, it's so true. And I don't know if that's 'cause I'm older or if young people are.
You may be becoming an
Surrounding
old
me.
head.
Yeah, it's true. I think I could.
it's weird being on the cusp of 30 though.
Yeah.
It's
Everyone's
just starting
young.
to hit me now.
Everyone's
Especially
young now.
like when I think we've known each other all so long. Like,
right. Yeah.
time freaks me out constantly.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Babe's wedding, I was kind of a mess because I was like, time. I can't. Like,
yeah. Right.
I was having the best time, but I was like, this is so crazy. Like, I've known this person since she was 15, and
I
now
know.
she's married, and like, I'm so happy, but like, we are getting old.
Yeah. And she's young. I mean, she's a year. I mean, at this point, it's just like she's our age, but like,
Oh, totally, yeah.
but, you know, she was like definitely like the little sister of the group back in
It's-
like in high school. You
She
know?
was, because
both literally and like
she
you know.
is the younger sister of our dear friend Alex.
Yes.
And I became friends with like everyone at the same time because I came in like junior year to that school.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you came in junior year at that school. I didn't really start becoming friends with like Zeb and Connor and Alec and all them until like halfway through sophomore year. So
Yeah.
the timing's like more or
It was
less
good timing.
the same.
Connor drove us back from that wedding and he was sober, and Aaron and I were just blasting like Deer Tick maybe.
And
And we
crying.
were just sobbing.
Like happy tears because it's just like so many core memories of your childhood. Like it's like driving to Babe and Alex's house in Rehoboth
Mm.
and listening to those songs, oftentimes being driven by Connor and you
Mhm.
In the Prius.
in the Prius,
In the Prius and the Honda
in the fuck,
Remember
in
the
in
Honda?
the Honda,
that had half a front bumper
in
missing.
Zeb's Corolla,
Zeb's Corolla,
and yeah, so many beautiful vehicles that ferried
the
us to and
Subaru,
fro.
the short Subaru.
the Subaru.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. It was like just this really sobering, like not even like, oh, we're getting old, but just like time is going by so fast. And I just want to make sure I'm not missing a moment because we've been so fucking lucky.
Yeah, yeah. Being present, I'm learning how to be. So like we were talking about like the July 4th
Yeah.
party, right? And how good like those times. Like I did not want that weekend to end. Like I left. I was
You
the
kept
first one there.
saying that.
I was the first one there, and like I was like low key one of the last ones to leave. Like I left, I think like that Monday morning. I was like, I gotta go because I'm gonna work the next day, and like my parents have a cookout. I gotta I gotta go.
I remember talking to you and being like, in a month from now, we're all gonna be in LBI. Like it'll all be
Right,
okay.
right. No, I remember saying like, guys, only like a couple more weeks, and then it's LBI. You were like, wait, like the summer just started. Like we don't have to rush into LBI.
Trying
But
to
it's
be
like
present.
there's like I'll be having fun in those moments, and then like I get like washed over with like, damn, like
It's melancholy.
tomorrow we're not gonna be doing like this is gonna be
Yeah.
over, which fucking like I need to work on tricking my or like talking like working with my brain and just like be present in those moments.
You have like a come down.
Yeah, I have like my come down. Oh my god,
And it's because we don't live in the same place anymore. So like we really
Right.
part when
Exactly,
we part.
so- But I also appreciate it because that's what makes like these moments more fun than it
Mhm.
used to be. Because like
Special.
I haven't seen you guys since August, since the beginning
Yeah.
of August. So tonight's gonna be super fun. Obviously,
I'm
there's
so
gonna be
glad
a dope ass
you're gonna
Halloween
be
party,
here.
and we're gonna be fucking lit. I wish Zeb was gonna be
Nonsense.
there, but Zeb is in Philly. That piece of shit.
He's booked and busy these days.
I know he's booked. He's booked and
Busier than
moving.
I
Alva
am.
can't really. Alva's booked and busy now.
I think I might have said I've said this earlier this year, but Zeb, also a friend of the show, guest of the show, he's like touring and like living his dream.
He is.
Again,
He's a
this
man.
is another manifestation.
He's a powerful manifester.
We're gonna talk about this, as well. But just like I've always told him since I've lived with him here in New York, he's been here the longest. He's been in New York for like 10 years now and
Yeah.
change, right? And I would always tell him like, just keep doing what you're like. It's gonna pay. Like the universe is gonna reward you. Like you're gonna get rewarded somehow. And like
He's true of spirit.
yeah, and seeing it happen right now, I'm just like, damn, it's happening right now. He's like touring, like he's playing
Are you taking
festivals.
credit for this, Jeremy?
I think you should.
I think I am a little
Mhm.
bit. Yeah, I called it. Zeb is gonna be a big deal.
Behind every good man is another good man.
Yes, is his homie.
Yeah, is his boy.
Is his homie. But yeah, and so like that's wild. That's wild to see that like he's fucking killing. Yeah, so he's in Philly tonight. We saw him last night, which was fun. But yeah,
Jeremy, what are you gonna be for Halloween tonight?
No, I'm not being anything. If somebody has a
No.
mask or some face paint, I'll do something. But
Maybe
I
you
don't
can be
have
a clown
anything.
with Sarah. That would be good.
Oh, or like a wig. What?
You could be a clown with Sarah.
What's that?
They're just gonna do some clown face paint.
Okay,
Clowns are very in the zeitgeist right now.
we'll see.
What were you gonna? what was your big reveal?
Oh, no,
yeah,
'cause
your reveal.
So it kind of goes. So like these last 2 years specifically have been very challenging.
Mm.
That I'm finally like over a hump. I talked about it in an episode last year.
I think I
actually
listened to that one.
What?
I think I listened to that one.
Yeah. So I talked about like my addiction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I told the story. I think you guys knew this already, and so I appreciate this much more because like you never made me feel like you knew. I used to like I didn't break into your house, but because you showed me where the spare key was, and how to get into that lock, and I literally I did that, and I fucking stole some pills from you. But little did I know Caroline was homesick from work, and she caught me.
No,
But I didn't think she called me.
Happened. Jeremy hit us up to ask to do laundry at her house, which we said yes, of course. He went thinking that we were all at work, but Caroline was
Homesick.
Yeah.
And basically after, I think, my memory is so bad. I'm a goldfish, but it's helpful and hurtful. But basically after, Caroline was like, yeah, he was acting like kind of weird. He said that his wallet was in your room and he had to go look for it. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then later I looked at my Folklin that was from like high school, from taking Folklin in high
So
school.
disgusting.
And it was
Dusty Folklin.
so dusty, Jeremy.
Super dusty.
Jeremy.
If I was stealing dusty pills, dusty Pokemon pills.
And the pills were gone, and I just somehow put two and two together that he had taken them. I think it was kind of obvious because you had like asked me for some, and I had said no because I was like
Trying to save your
Hoarding.
stores. Yeah, you're hoarding. As a woman does, a woman's right to hoard.
Sure.
yeah,
Hunt and gather.
I was definitely. I meant to like bring it up to you a couple times, but then I was just feeling shy, I guess, and I didn't really care that much. I definitely was like, that's really strange. I might have had like a little bit of anger, but I think it was more built out of like worry, probably.
I feel like that's understandable. I feel like knowing what we know now about like, I'm not gonna like label you as being like addicted, but just like addictive behaviors.
I
I'm glad
had
that
a little problem
you
for
let
a little
that
bit.
slide, because I feel like
Yeah.
A confrontation at that point probably wasn't going to yield the best results.
Sure.
And we just only had like a select amount of time together.
Yeah.
So it was just like, I just want to let the good times roll.
And it was also
Yeah,
at the time kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny.
It was kind of funny.
Kinda- I mean, we're talking about it's a funny story.
Now
you know?
it's
Funny.
very
Now it's funny, very
funny.
funny.
Very
Just
funny
like that,
now.
I like it. Damn, she was really home.
brass
I was like, she was fucking home.
Balls.
She caught me.
By
I was like,
Caroline,
what's,
too.
What's up?
To get caught by Caroline is
Oh
the
my
best.
God,
Like,
I
yeah.
think I forgot my wallet in Alex's room.
But because of going back to my original, no, it was like so. Because of everything that I was dealing with, like these last 2 years were just like really hard, transitioning, and like into a healthier and better lifestyle,
mm-hmm.
and making better choices for myself and sticking to those choices. But there was only so much that I could do by myself, and like
Mhm.
it was just like, especially because of what I do, because for a living, like I teach, and like some of the ways that I was interacting with these kids, it was just like not good.
I so relate to that.
And I was like, this is like not sustainable, and like I feel bad that I'm like not like I shouldn't be treating these kids like that or like interacting with these kids like that. So I started going to therapy. In June, I think I told you this, Alex.
Probably.
Probably not yet. I don't think so. I think I told you July. Yeah. And that's been a big help.
props.
That's been a big help for me. Because yeah, it's just like my anxiety was like through the roof, and there was like I couldn't, like how you were saying you couldn't enjoy certain moments. You were very
Mhm.
fidgety. I felt like I was going through a lot of that. I had a lot of post hangover anxiety.
Oh my God, yeah. That's bad for like the average bear with a pretty good balance of their neurochemicals. Like,
right.
So if you're unbalanced, that is like
Right.
gonna take you out.
Yeah. And so like, and I definitely treated. I was like, that's I know it's from the drinking, but it's just like it was certain. Like I would like lose so like I couldn't sleep. Like it was bad. Just little shit like that. But
It's not little.
no, it's not little. But yeah, I mean, so I've been in therapy now for since June, I think, beginning of June.
Do you like your therapist?
I do, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was first that was one of my concerns, and like it was just like a good fit, so like I didn't have to go searching for one, which is nice.
What luck.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
So that was, I mean, wasn't much of a.
I
mean,
feel
that was
like
my
you've
review,
been
I
in like
guess.
in a major place of growth, and yeah, like as you said, the past years that I look up to,
We're fighting the good
Thank
fight.
you.
because
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, like, I don't know, you've made so like you moved back to Providence, like you did all these things that were like I don't know would be hard for me to do. Like
I've come to accept Providence as my home now.
Providence is
I
a great place. Like
it is a great place, but
I
there was
love
there was a part
Providence.
of me that felt like I would be a failure if I like didn't move. I
Mhm.
fully planned to come back to the city.
yeah,
Like after, like I just need to get back on my feet. Maybe I'll find a job, and then I'll do that. But then
You
the
have to lie to
pandemic
yourself
happened.
when you
Yeah,
leave the city.
yeah,
and then even when I started working as a TA, it was still like a very much like I didn't commit to a teaching career until literally this April
but
or
you
like
are
February.
you're good at that.
No,
Like,
yeah, and like that's
you know
I've
this.
come to like this is it. So I was like I'm finally come to terms with my life being in Providence for the
And-
foreseeable future.
and it's a good thing. Like
Yeah.
it's not like you're not giving anything up or leaving anything on the table
yeah.
for that. Like Providence is a great place. I imagine that I will probably move back there someday.
Mm.
And you're good with kids and you're someone that people should learn from. So I think it's all working out for the best.
Mm. It is until listen to the wrong episode of the show, and then my career is in shambles.
Nah.
I'm riding the wave. I'm like really riding the line with some of the shit that I say on this show. But it's funny
But
because
that's good. Like
I started this, but I started this show way before I had any inclination. Like 2 years before 2 years ago, before I had any inclination of even working at a school, and now I'm here and like I'm like thinking about it. It's like because this is like a passion of mine as well, right? So it's like, and it's also an outlet of mine, and this is my platform. This is all mine. This is mine.
fucking yours.
So it's just like I don't want to feel like I have to censor. Obviously, like I'm not gonna go completely irresponsible.
Like off the rails.
Right.
You have to be
Yeah.
yourself.
I was
But
kind
exactly.
of thinking about this before this podcast because we all sort of have like our work is sort of an outside force where we need to be like good citizens.
Yeah.
Because like
Mhm.
I'm in the journalism world, and Erin is a nanny, and Jeremy's a teacher.
Mhm.
So when you're dealing with the journalism thing, I'm still getting used to. Like, apparently, because I didn't go to journalism. Well, I went to journalism school, but it was like light journalism school. So apparently, you're really not supposed to have like public opinions on things.
Much like the Queen. God rest her soul.
God rest her soul.
But I'm still getting used to that. And then of course, like dealing with kids, you just are expected to be a good
Just to
citizen.
circle back to that, it makes me laugh so much that, well, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that they're still teaching that journalists should be, you know, keeping their opinions closer to the vest, because I feel like that has just gone so far by the wayside in the past
Right,
few years.
yeah.
I'm surprised they're even still bothering to say that to people.
I think
Right.
it's an outdated. I think it's outdated. Basically, we
I
have.
think there's a virtue in it, but I also see the other side.
Yeah.
Make journalism great again.
No, literally.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's
No,
so
yeah,
bad
no,
in so many
quite
ways.
literally.
It's-
Like, it kind of
when
sucks.
I
No,
read,
definitely.
it's truly shocking sometimes to read articles that get published by major publications that are just like,
Even
written
just
by
like
fucking
even just the
simpletons.
titles.
It's crazy.
And I think this is a great segue into our dear old friend Kanye West,
Okay.
formerly known Kanye West. His name is Ye now. A lot has
Kanye.
transpired within the last 2 months with Kanye West. Most recently, so he just lost his deal with Adidas. He is going through the divorce within that was like a year and change.
Yeah.
But like he's been going on a slew of just like he's just going off on Instagram and social media, and then
I
now he's
woke up
doing
to
like
the news that Goodwill will no longer accept any Yeezy merchandise in the form of donations, which
that's interesting.
that must be unprecedented.
Yeah, apparently most recent news I heard about it was he tried to walk into Skechers.
I heard that too.
It
yeah.
literally sounded like an Onion article.
I too follow the Shade Room.
Yeah. And they escorted him out, which
That just makes me, like, unimaginably sad.
I think they're gonna regret that decision a couple of years down the line, but we'll,
They may.
but we'll see. Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, let's keep it real about
I
all
cannot
of this.
I cannot condemn the man. I think obviously his wording, his rhetoric was like bad, which he's known. I don't think he's not out of character. He's not out of brand. I don't think he sounds crazy or manic.
He has a lot of good points, and
I think he's framing. I think he's stating what a lot of just people, especially black people in media, have been fighting for the last however long.
but then let's
just-
crystallize. Let's say what that is, so people don't get confused.
that these white people that run Hollywood and the media and these record labels profit off like the talent and the work of these superstars, these black superstars, off this talent, whether it's in sports, whether it's in music, whether it's in Hollywood.
Unfortunately, though, unfortunately, he didn't say white people. He said Jewish people. Right?
Unfortunately, he said Jewish people. So that's one thing. But the thing is that it's like we all know what he like. I don't know. It's like the words and the rhetoric was anti-Semitic, but I don't think he's anti-Semitic. And it's just like very on. I just don't think like for him to. Because he's not going back either. He's doing these run on podcasts and all that stuff. And he's not, which I almost kind of respect in a way.
Sure, totally.
Because it's like
Stick to your guns.
he's sticking to his guns. He knows what he meant. He knows what he said. It sucks how damaging it is because now there's like these actual anti-Semitic racist neo-Nazis that are like fucking running with his
Anti-Semitism
shit.
is also the snake that eats itself, because it's like he says this stuff basically perpetuating like age-old like propaganda style rhetoric.
Yeah.
And if you do anything other than condemn that, then you are kind of perpetuating it. But we have to be able to have these conversations in a nuanced way, or like, what's the fucking point?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of the most interesting part to me is that like I feel pretty uncomfortable with someone who's like speaking out against like these big media and like corporations that run basically our whole society, I feel pretty uncomfortable with someone who's speaking out against them being silenced. But I also think that we simply can't stand to have such
Anti-Semitism is serious business.
Anti-Semitism, racism.
Anti-black racism, and I think we'd be remiss not to at least acknowledge the fact that Kanye, albeit a black man, has been espousing anti-black rhetoric for years now.
So now that's an interesting point too, right?
Because was the anti-Semitic rhetoric that brought the hammer down.
Right. So now is and the fallout of this is that like, as he kind of and the way because of how he's been calling everybody out, is he proving his own point at his own demise? Like, he was just 2 years ago. He said that like the slavery was a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
He still had his Adidas contract. Matter of fact, he signed a deal with Gap. He signed a deal with Balenciaga.
No one was going to pull deals with him over those White Lives Matter shirts either.
No one was going to pull deals with those White Lives Matter shirts either. Which is also, I still don't know what to make of those shirts. I don't know, because he doesn't explain it. Kanye does.
And that's the problem.
He has his way of like speaking here, of starting here and then going here, and then going here, right, and then going and then ending here. And then, but if you're really listening, you can see how
there's some gems throughout.
There's some gems throughout, and if you're really listening, you can see how it does tie together, and it obviously ties together in his own mind, right?
Totally.
But
I'm like curious how we have these nuanced conversations without like perpetuating like the racism and the anti-Semitism. Like I just don't. I silencing someone seems pretty pretty not okay to me, but I'm just not sure what the alternative is.
I completely agree.
Because you can't encourage it. It causes violence, and
it's a huge question. Yeah, like I think in the recent years, the mainstream culture, it's such a shitty phrase, but we have lost the ability to engage with nuance. Everything is black and white. Everything is good versus evil. And I understand why people have been brought to that place, because so many people in this country are fed the fuck up, and I cannot blame them. But if we lose the ability to have nuanced conversations, I just don't see how that's going to take us anywhere good.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
And maybe we're speaking even too broadly. Like, I don't know. Does this sound just like nonsensical, or like we're skirting around any sort of issue? But
the issue is like you. There's like, and also it's like we're throwing out very buzz phrases and buzzwords, which is like even like the war on free speech. Like, I feel like that's very much kind of a real thing.
I completely agree.
I think people definitely should be allowed to say stupid and ignorant shit
free speech
without being
condemned,
without being stripped of your livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like Alex said, it's tough when it's coming from someone as influential as Kanye.
And your like neighbor next door. It's just as influential in like perpetuating.
Yeah, but I mean, influential in the state that he that mobilizes people.
Well, I think like the bigger question is
it's a bigger scale.
So it's a bigger scale, but like But I think I
think the bigger question we have to answer is, what does free speech mean? Because Kanye's not going to get arrested for anything that he said.
Right.
These are private brands, privately owned brands and companies that have every right to stop doing business with him. But it harkens back to me to Trump being kicked off Twitter, which that seems to be a clear interruption of free speech. And Twitter is a private company.
That's
but
a tough one, though.
They function as they're so prevalent, such a huge company that they function effectively.
Yeah.
As almost a government, or like not government, but a you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they can push the button. They can push a button and end you, like, in a certain way.
That's
unprecedented. The thing is with
Trump,
I will say with Trump, I was kind of scared because at the end of the day, he was like the president, which means he knew stuff.
That's the scary part. He's got the new codes
people aren't supposed to know, right?
Yeah.
So like I think that for anything, like Trump is the only one where it's like, okay, like this dude might while out and just
tweet the nuclear codes.
Tweet the nuclear, right? Like, you know what I'm saying, or like just end reality as we know it, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's like a regulation of like social
Yeah.
media. I don't know what the answer.
But
But it's
these
even, like,
social media companies
it's
are
so
bigger
quick.
than we can understand now. They're bigger than anyone could have imagined. They're bigger than anyone writing the Constitution or anything could have imagined. Like, it's
Yeah.
not just a private company anymore. They have
Right.
they have all our data. They have a hold over all our daily lives. Like,
Yep.
it's bigger. There needs to be some sort of new conversation about that, I think.
Yeah, yeah. The big thing too is, so it's like, so there's someone like Kanye, right, where he gets shut down. So then it's like, so we all, you know who Andrew Tate is, right?
Refresh my memory.
He's just like one of those very like alpha male, like like very misogynistic messaging, like it's one of those like
No, okay, I don't know who he is.
Jordan. So he got big, like he got really big. I think he's hilarious. I don't agree with what he says. I think a lot of his stuff
Much
is
like
more
Trump, I don't agree with what he says, but he's hilarious.
right. I think he's more of a character and a caricature of himself.
Is he
On
like a
social
pundit?
media.
Like who is he?
I'll show you a picture. If I show you a picture, you'll know who he is.
Is he
But
like
he
an
got banned
influencer?
on what?
Public speaker.
Yeah. Like
No,
what's
he was
his
like
title?
a UFC. He was like an MMA fighter,
Oh, okay.
and then he became like a millionaire, like all this stuff. This guy.
No, I don't
Never
know.
seen him?
I don't
Oh
know
my-
her.
Never seen.
I
it.
don't
Sorry to
know-
that man.
I don't know her. Yeah, let's get a little refill here. Might as well finish this bottle. But he got like silenced for some shit because like he says a lot of misogynistic shit, and like he has a lot of, in like what's the word, impressionable young boys
Will
that
you pass
follow
me the
him.
mango juice, please?
Oh yes. What is a mimosa without some nice juice?
I've got to go to the bathroom. Should I bring?
I
mine
also
here?
gotta pee.
Wait,
Should
should
I
we
bring
take
my
a little
mic with
bathroom
me?
break?
We can take a little bathroom break and I'll edit it out. Yeah.
All right.
And we are back from that much needed piss
I found
break.
a very
Yeah.
apt tweet for our conversation.
Okay, yes,
I'm
please.
excited.
Sitting on the
Please share.
toilet and I opened Twitter and the first tweet that showed up was Elon Musk tweeting, "Finally, comma, the truth that carbs are amazing can be said on this platform!" Exclamation point. Hashtag free speech.
So yeah, Elon
The
has
truth that what?
ownership of Twitter now.
That carbs are amazing can be said on this platform. Hashtag free speech. And then he responded, hashtag so brave.
I hate to say this, but I just want to make sure we are indeed recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No. You know what? I deserve that.
No, I mean saying
You
with
deserve
love.
that much
What?
more.
It's coming from a place of love.
No. Yes. I understand that. No. That's yeah.
Yeah, Elon owns Twitter now, and
I
that's
thought
going to
he
be
blacked out on that.
interesting.
Mm-mm.
I just read some stuff this morning. He said that they're going to have an independent council of people with greatly diverse viewpoints that will assess any and all bans going forward. He then tweeted that comedy is now legal on Twitter. And then he said something else I'm reaching to
That room
remember.
is going to be insane.
I guess like anti-Semitic and racist tweets are skyrocketing at the moment, though.
Yeah,
so
people saying the N-word.
Gotcha.
I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's still like he basically said until that board is not is formed.
then nothing's
nothing's
gonna.
changing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He
Yeah.
said that the current conduct or what content regulations are still in effect until that changes.
Right.
I just wish that the general society and population didn't suck so much, because then we didn't have
That's
to
what it
worry
is.
about
It's
this.
it's what it is. It's
It's
just
like
like
the
people
dum-dums of our country.
people suck more than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost like lean more
But that
on the side of
Censorship.
censorship just because it's so bad. Like
But isn't it better to know
yeah. It's the devil
I
you
think
know.
so exactly. I think like
the devil you know exactly?
yeah, I do think so. I think
Because
I
who
think,
does censorship protect?
full censorship is pretty disturbing. But if you go on Twitter, you can still see people being racist and anti-Semitic. It's
I'm
just
more
that-
concerned about like seeing like videos that are very traumatic that can actually harm someone psychologically. And I'm not saying that words cannot hurt people, because they certainly can. But I feel like the rhetoric around words being literally equated to physical violence is a new phenomenon that perplexes me.
Yeah.
And that may perplex
Well,
me because
I
I'm
mean-
a very privileged person, and I'll
I
say
mean,
that for sure.
I've always thought that like I think about this with like my family specifically. Like if you say something like I'm hoping this example is gonna work out 'cause I'm winging it. But like if you say something transphobic to your friend, they say it to their friend. I mean, it's just the word we've been saying, like perpetuating. Like
Mm.
that that can lead to an overall understanding that trans people are lesser, and like that can lead to violence. Like, in
Sure.
that
It's
way,
like
I
a
think,
snowball effect, you
yeah,
mean?
like
Yeah, sure.
Words can definitely lead to like
Words shape our
violence.
society.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. And like all the like Asian violence against
But
Asian people, that was like built on words.
equating an instance of speech with immediate physical violence. I feel like that's happening more, and that confuses me.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, it's just certain people. There's just people that have so much influence that, like, it's like
Yeah, it's the influence too.
that's like people that have the ability to mobilize people.
Yeah.
That's when it gets really like tricky and murky, right? Like a Kanye, like a fucking like Trump.
I think I don't have a good enough grasp on that. I feel like I always underestimate people's influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I would love to hear more like historically. I guess like I would love to hear more like historical context, because I'm sure these things have happened before, and you know, people have been stopped or haven't been stopped, and like how it works out each way. I feel like I need some like historical context, which I'm missing, of just, you know, how
Well, I mean, not to hit the nails too hard on the head, but I feel like in Nazi Germany, the propaganda,
Right.
That was definitely a lot of words leading up to immense physical violence, of course.
Yeah.
But is that really the time we're living in now? And obviously, I don't think anyone's wanting to make any comparisons to the Holocaust. Maybe we'll cut that out.
You know what I will say though, like so in terms of like the White Lives Matter shirt, like that's one thing that I'm still not, because like Kanye obviously has a history of seeming like he's just always caping for, you know, white
Yeah.
attention, right? So it's like, and he never explained it fully. All he just said, 'cause I'm just stating the obvious,
And
right?
then having Candace Owens at the show with him also wearing the shirt.
Right. Yes.
I thought that was a statement in and of itself.
Sure. Yeah, but he's always gone on saying like he's always backed her.
Yeah. Well,
He's
when
always
I
backed her.
first saw that shirt and I saw that Candace Owens was there and he said a little about this, I was like, okay, this is a criticism of Black Lives Matter
right, sure.
as an organization. And then I went to another
Because I
first instinct where I was like, this is also maybe like a little bit of Afrofuturism, like imagine a world where we need to worry about White Lives Mattering.
Right.
But
right.
that was just like an instinct of when I first saw it.
Right.
But he didn't ever explain.
He doesn't. He
But
explained
then
it in
it's
his
like the
Kanye way
argument
that
you artists
like
have to explain.
sure, right. But I said, like you just touched on it. We were all kind of duped on BLM.
I don't know enough facts.
I did a whole episode on this.
I think I listened to some of this.
And
yeah.
I like juxtaposed it with stuff that was going on at the school I work at, where everything just seems very performative.
Well, we both attended this school. I hope that's not too much to say. Maybe it is.
It
Maybe
all
we'll
seems
skirt around.
it all seems very performative, right?
Yeah, because I was. Do we not? Should I not? Okay.
Well, let's not.
We'll just not.
we'll leave it up. We'll leave it up for. I mean, it's already out there, but like we'll leave it right there, right? It's actually a different school I work at Attleboro. Yeah.
Yes.
Not that school.
Attleboro is a great place.
Yeah. But it's like so I did so like there was a whole misappropriation of funds, right? With BLM.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Sure. And like obviously with the whole $6 million mansion, but then it goes further than that. It goes like about a lot of these families
not getting their fucking
not
money,
getting their money.
which is egregious.
To put it lightly, right?
Exactly.
Egregious. Also other stuff where it was just like there's BLM chapters within like I don't know the facts offhand anymore. I talked about it in that episode. But basically, you know, where he was like this guy who was the head of this local chapter somewhere down south was actually trying to protest and like mobilize, like do some actual like real like on the ground shit. And like BLM kind of like very much tried to distance themselves and silence themselves. And like while he was doing that,
What were their reasons for that?
What
do you think their reasons were for that?
I mean, like, they don't want to be seen, it's very much like, they probably just don't want to be seen as radical.
So
right?
they're
Or like
moving away from the radical.
they're moving away from the radical stuff, and they were just moving towards the trendy stuff, and instead they did like some live shit on Instagram, or it's just like a dance thing. It was all just like I gotta look it up. It was like a whole thing that I read on like a New York Times article. But it's just like, what's like, is that like, that's almost like, I don't know, what do you think is worth? Is it somebody like Trump running the way he ran and won the way he won, or is it like someone like Biden and like BLM who like prey on this awful shit, and then like, and they reap the rewards, and then now that like, Biden didn't come, like, where the fuck are they? Where's Kamala
I think
Harris?
you said it before. It's the devil you know.
Right.
And I think it was really, really easy for everyone to get angry about Trump. And it was even easier for everyone to take to breathe a sigh of relief when Biden entered office. And the differences are fairly marginal, in my opinion.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
The differences between the two of them are fairly marginal, just in effect, in the legislation that's happening. And that's not to say, I mean, for some people, the differences are great if you're talking about like DACA. Honestly, I feel badly because I kind of disengaged from politics last year because it was just.
We're allowed to be stupid on the show. Don't worry.
Bringing my cortisol levels up too much, and I had to say enough is enough.
I feel like people are actually pretty hype with Biden. Like,
maybe recently
maybe
because
they
he gave us a
are.
measly fucking 10 grand.
I also
on our
want to
student loans,
couch
but
this
like,
quickly
how-
for
like,
my
what-
own ego and just say that I was very politically engaged from like my teens into my early 20s.
Oh, yeah,
and cared
yes.
a lot and got really fucking angry. And I finally had to like kind of let go of my anger because it was hurting me.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, it's tough. It's just like like I said, like people like these, like the Democrats, the left, whatever you want to call it, like they
The
prey,
demented Democrats.
they prey on all of this shit, and not because they care, because they just know how to swing. They know what they need to do to win, right? Which is, I don't know. It sucks both ways. So like that's why
None of the people in Washington actually have anyone's best interest at heart by
Of course,
themselves, and
of
that's
course.
just, we know this.
Hey, yeah, we know this, right? It's a little naive to think otherwise, but it's just like when you know what it is too.
You want the system to work. You want to believe that it could work, and that's the hardest thing to let go
People
of.
love to frame stuff like, especially now, within the last 6 years, it's just like Trump or not Trump. Like, oh, like I voted. Like, I think it's very more nuanced than that. Like, I haven't had this full discussion with my dad yet. My dad is very much like, oh, he probably voted for Trump. He's a piece of shit. Blah blah blah.
All our parents
all
are,
this
and
stuff,
our
right?
grandparents, yeah.
And it's just like, it's just not that black and white. Like, listen, this is what I'll say. Like, if you voted for Trump, if you're a Trump person, sure, it might be a red flag.
But also, like, how did we get here? Because we got here for a reason.
Right, exactly. We got here for a reason, and like you say this shit, but I'm like kind of losing my train of thought on this a little bit right now. But
Had a lot of
have
mimosas.
another sip,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
yeah, let me have it. I think that'll
Maybe
help.
that will help.
But but yeah, I don't know. I just think things are more nuanced. Like you said earlier, like everything's very much black and white now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, I follow this like super conservative chick, and I think this is also.
Who is it, Al?
Who is it?
What's her name? Oh, I went to camp.
Actually,
with
she gets no shout out on my show.
her name's
No, I'm
Sunny.
kidding. Her name's
Well,
what?
Not to shout her
Sunny.
out, but if it was someone
She has her own
significant.
podcast.
No
so.
plug for
Oh
her.
shit! Yeah, no plug for her podcast.
I went to camp with her when I was younger, and I follow her just to sort of keep up on like the conservative mindset. And I find that and I think this is me also just not being like super read into the patterns of politics, because I'm sure this has been a pattern for as long as politics have existed. But I find that we have a lot of similar beliefs. Like we both believe that the government isn't trustworthy. We both think the government isn't doing enough. But we just approach it from completely different angles. And I feel like that it is, I think it is so much more nuanced. I think we do overlap in a lot of ways. And I think there is like a whole like circle of like liberalism and conservatism, where if you are at the extremes, you actually like agree on a lot of things. So I think, I do find that interesting, how we sort of agree on a lot. But I feel like her frame of mind is just so much more built on disinformation, which is I'm really struggling with lately. Like,
Can you be more specific about like what kind of disinformation?
Like that, a lot about vaccines being really bad.
Yeah.
Which of course, I can.
COVID's a whole other fucking beast.
Yeah. That like LA and New York are really, really dangerous places, and the government's doing nothing about it. She has a lot of like transphobia.
And I imagine like rooted in misogyny and
for sure.
Yeah. I feel like that's like where most transphobia like stems from, and like homophobia and misogyny.
Right.
I mean, not to take anything away from transphobia, but just for people that have like never met a trans person, or like, I think it's like just so that.
Yeah, it's interesting 'cause she was a theater kid too, so I'm like,
that is interesting.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
she's not working in theater now, I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Very committed to like conservatism as like a lifestyle. And
an ethos.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
And that's interesting too, because I'd imagine if you guys went to the same camp, you probably had relatively similar upbringings. Or what part of the country is she from?
I have no idea. Definitely on the East Coast though, for sure.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, maybe in New York.
'Cause all like the conservatism shit, like if you're a minor in the Rust Belt and your jobs are like diminishing so precipitously and you're just poor as shit, like that's an anger I can empathize with.
Sure, yeah.
But upper middle class girl on the East Coast, that I struggle with.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Politics, am I right?
She thinks like society is like going down the drain, which I think is another.
Well, we
thing.
all agree on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can sort of agree on.
But it's the reasons.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and also like the disinformation is so crazy now too. Like I feel like I read 3 things on Twitter a day that I fully believe that aren't true. And I'm just like, where do I go? I know like the liberals are lying to us, the conservatives are lying to us. Maybe they're a little bit more straightforward in the way they're speaking, but I don't agree with their politics, but I just don't know where to go.
I mean, this is a little bit pivoting, but just to jump off that and maybe to touch back on Kanye, I do think it's really interesting that, I mean, you can make there's a ton of reasons why liberal networks wouldn't have him on that go beyond just like his views.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting that like Tucker Carlson is willing to have him on, all these other people. And I don't think it's because, say what you will about Tucker Carlson, I don't think it's because he's a bigot. Because he wants to give a bigot a platform. Like, I think that's become...
Well, I think it's very on brand for him, though. Maybe I don't think that's his motivation.
Yeah,
but he knows that like nobody else is gonna nobody on
he'll
CNN
touch people that
or
no
like
one else
NBC
will
want to touch him. So
but
it's
even
just
like Glenn Greenwald, he only goes really on Tucker Carlson. Like,
and he did what's that? He did Piers Morgan too.
Yeah, which
that was I had to stop. I had to stop that one after like
that was hard to watch because I didn't like to see Piers Morgan kind of getting the jump on Kanye. That was the most disturbing part to me.
I don't think what do you mean got the jump on Kanye?
I don't know. He was like just like talking down to him in this way.
But Kanye never won't let that. He didn't let that happen.
I feel like he kind of did. There was this moment.
No, because he literally called him boy. He's like boy. He's like don't call. He's like boy. He's like don't call me boy. He's like well, stop treating me like I'm a fucking boy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. That was harder for me to watch. Than
He definitely tried, but Kanye like he shuts it down.
Did you see the footage of Tucker at like the Yeezy?
Oh yeah, when he was trying the smoothies.
I found that incredibly endearing.
I did too. Yeah, I did too. I thought it was very funny, and I was like, wow.
I was like, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah. No, that was interesting.
I think
what do you say? I'll put anything in my mouth, or what do you say?
Yeah, he just said something very like, just like it was very pause moment. Like, it was funny.
It
was
definitely
cute.
is his career though. He like
Tucker or Kanye?
Tucker.
Yeah. I think I have a soft spot in my heart for Tucker, and I might need to look inward about that.
Uh oh. Should I cut that out?
I had a soft spot for Giuliani for a really long time.
It's on the airwaves. This is forever.
I'll stand by that. I'll stand by my truth. I definitely don't agree or
Sure.
apologize
know.
for him, but I just mean like human to human. For some reason, I have a
Yeah.
soft spot for
I
him.
think these like conservative celebrities, like, I think it's easy to sort of take a liking to them because they're so seemingly upfront with their beliefs.
Yeah,
Versus like the liberal.
more smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. And it's
Also,
just
I
so
feel like for
unbearable. But what they
Tucker-
are doing is so dangerous.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
It's yeah.
I think it's nuanced. I think a lot of what they're doing is dangerous, but I'm grateful that they give some people platforms that are being shut out of these other like
Yeah.
MSNBC, etc. But I will also say I think also it's like just they've been around for so long, so it's like kind of comforting in a weird way. Like Tucker's been on the air since we were like young.
Well, I didn't even know that. I
Yeah.
thought he was like a new
I don't know a
figure.
lot about him.
No, he's been on the air forever. He used to go on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and like they would like spar. That was a big core memory for me, like in my early teens for sure.
If you could
Yeah.
choose one late night host to fuck, who would you be?
Oh
Like a
yes, I love this
current?
pivot. Thank you, Alex. That was great.
No,
Current?
any overtime.
Oh, like over all time. Well, what are we considering late night? I think it's got to be Fallon, and I hate myself for saying that.
What?
Fallon.
Not John?
Jon Stewart's not technically like a late night.
I would consider like talk show, I guess. Then.
Oh well, then yeah, Jon Stewart obviously.
Yeah.
But there'd be a pretty big height discrepancy. We could work through it though.
Wait, with Jon Stewart?
As my friend Harvey, who's
I was like, what? Is
very
he like
old,
5'6"?
says it's all the same when you're lying down.
That's what I was gonna say.
Hey, wow! I'm using that one.
Who's Harvey?
I'm storing. That's going in the vault.
Naomi's brother-in-law.
Oh.
I'm storing that one in the chamber.
Big shouts to Harvey. Hope
That's
he's
great.
doing all right.
How about you, Alex?
I would say the same. John for me too.
John?
But
Not-
he left us much like Batman. He left us when we needed him most.
Much like Batman.
Isn't he back? No, he was back. He interviewed someone.
No, he's never really back. He's really focused on getting the money for people affected by 9/11, and it's extremely honorable, and I'm glad that's where his focus is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. When did that start?
The 9/11 stuff, or
No. How did he become so interested in that?
I think because he's like such a New York guy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like watching, because we were obviously barely cognizant when 9/11 happened, but I remember like in high school, like watching on YouTube the footage of like the first Daily Show after 9/11. It's moving, and it's, obviously, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he likes to raise money for people who have gotten cancer from breathing in the smoke.
No, he goes to Congress and like lobbies the
Is this
government.
Colbert you're saying, or
This
or
is Jon Stewart.
Stewart.
He goes to Congress and the Senate and lobbies to make sure that like the
Some of the
legal
budget
is allotted to people that were affected by 9/11 and people that like got very sick, from the fumes, etc.
That's so great.
Yeah, and
So
he
we're-
yets at them. It's so sick.
So you're both fucking Jon Stewart. Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
but
great.
also like
We
maybe
could
have a good
Fallon,
choice.
and again,
That's
not
a good
proud of
choice.
it. It's because Fallon's a drunk.
Would you have a threesome with me if it was with Jon Stewart?
No,
Aw.
I don't think you really want that, Alex.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What if it was like The
we're
Rock?
like sisters.
You
That's
guys
not
think-
like I want the audience to know that's
I-
obviously not a shade at you.
I feel like that. Yeah.
Oh, she's sad. Okay, y'all.
Oh,
Oh
no.
with you. What do you
I
want?
feel like I know this answer from you guys, but like, you guys would you? What about like The Rock doing The Rock Johnson?
The Rock
Does he
is
do it for you guys?
He doesn't do it for me.
I feel like I knew that answer.
and
yeah.
that's not it's not because I don't have love for him. Like I
Sure.
appreciate him, but he's not. It's not getting it going for me.
He's not getting it going for you.
He's
How
an
about you, Alex?
international superstar.
International
Aaron's heard this
superstar.
story before, but when I was in
Wait, I don't know if I have.
when I was in Ghana, there was a taxi driver who was picking me and my friend up from the movie theater. He was asking what movie we went to, blah blah blah. I was like, "Have you been to the movies lately?" He's like, "Oh, I don't go to the movies unless The Rock's in a movie." He's like, that's when we go to the
Mad
movies.
respect. Remember when he was in
That's
that
great.
Tooth Fairy movie?
Yeah,
That was
I
him,
do.
right?
He's an
Yeah.
international superstar.
I was just gauging because I feel like he's the. I wouldn't call him like a sex symbol, but like he's very much
He's
just like
almost too
I
He's
honestly
this
feel like
big,
he's more of a
like
gay
this
sex symbol because he's so like
clean and big
yeah.
and like
I kind
literally-
of- I'm not
literally
really
built like a
attracted-
fucking massive penis.
I'm not really attracted to men that could accidentally kill me.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
That's
You
kinda-
know?
I
I
feel
like
that's
that. I
kinda
like
hot.
that.
No, like accidentally. On purpose, sure, but accidentally.
Like
Right.
squish you, like sit on
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Like roll over on me in the night and smother me like a
And just
baby.
Smothered like
Fucking
a
snap
baby.
her trachea.
Or like have like a
during-
PTSD episode and like choke me. We might cut that out too.
that's
no,
scary.
no,
That was
no.
a Grey's reference for all my Grey's heads.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I don't want to end this just yet.
I know, I'm not done.
Okay. I'm not done either. So I want to go back to. I tried talking about this last week, but and that's just who Michael is, right? But he's not really. He doesn't. He just thinks he's not a big guy of manifestation.
Okay, we want to touch on manifestation.
This is a really interesting topic that I've been sort of like exploring, like manifestation, law of attraction,
People say it fucking works.
the universe.
Can I retell my story? It's such a boring story for you guys.
Sure.
Well, let's
no,
do a
yeah. So let's
quick- on the manifestation, like what was it called? Like the bling ring. What was the book she read? Oh, you guys aren't gonna know it. There's a very
It's all familiar, I
famous
think.
book on manifestation that has been circulating for like 20 plus years. Like manifestation has been around, and I feel like we're seeing more of it. Lead into Alex's
Mhm.
story.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll start by saying
This is like a small.
The secret. It's the secret. Sorry.
The secret.
Right,
This
right.
is a small, and just a breve story. This is like a small, yet like kind of like impact, like whoa type example of manifestation. I want to talk about it more like like in terms of your life.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
But like talk. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Jeremy saying this is like more of a superficial one, and I think this is true. But I think
But you
this
got to
is-
start small.
I think this can apply to life too, because where I
It also
learned
applies
this-
to witchcraft. But go ahead.
This is honestly more witchy. But I think this. So basically, I learned this in yoga. Is basically like you breathe in the good and you breathe out the bad, and I always felt like it really, maybe too woo woo, but like it
I'm
really
getting more woo woo with each passing day.
clears like the bad from my mind. But over the summer I was basically, and I think this is an example of how to manifest.
There were some critical weekends.
It's like meditation. There's some critical weekends. 4th of July as an example, where the weather was supposed to be really bad, and each day I sat on my bed.
And each day I would text you and throw a temper tantrum and
Mm.
say, I'm not coming because the weather is going to be bad.
So
Uh-huh.
I can't introduce this negative energy into my mind because I'm manifesting right now.
And mind you,
and
this
I
is
need to be in a good place.
this is a party. This is like a once in a year July 4th
Yeah, we have
like
to preface the party.
big tradition that we have in our friend group.
Since nearly high school, we've been doing
Since
this.
nearly high school, where we go to like little Connor, we go to Connor's like family's like mom's house, and we like spend the weekend there. And we party, we go to the beach, and like this is like a very big tradition. Until this year, the forecast was just dog shit going into the week. So go ahead, continue.
It was quite bad. So every day I would sit on my bed and breathe in very deeply and just picture us partying in the sun outside playing volleyball. You have to really picture the place itself and actual people and actual surroundings that you'll be in. And then when I breathed out, I pictured it raining and us sitting inside and being really miserable. So I did that a lot of times, and the weather was great. But to Jeremy's point, that is a more superficial.
It was really impressive, though, because weather, I mean,
I changed the weather.
she changed the weather, folks. it's
Yeah.
what happened.
No, but that's like a small, like that's like a small, but yeah, like and superficial, but like yeah, it's like
I think on a-
it's interesting to look at.
Yeah. I think on a bigger scale, I think I did that sort of with my career. It took me a really, really, really long time, but to sort of get to where I wanted to be, I was constantly like picturing where I wanted to be and thinking about where I wanted to be.
And
writing
also
about
working
it.
really hard.
Yeah, but then also like being like, okay, this is
Right.
where I want to be. Like, and I would really like imagine it, like obviously like idealizing, dreaming of it, like want to be in that place, and then I think the most important part, of course, is like doing the steps to get there. But
That's where I.
I think in that way, like that's maybe is a more tangible manifestation where you have a dream that you're very focused on. But what do you think about
Yeah.
it, Jeremy? I'm curious what you think.
I don't know. It's tough. I think I agree with you. Or I agree with in the sense like manifestation is one. It's nothing without action, right? So you can't just like you can't
Exactly.
dream it
Much like praying.
and visualize, right, without doing it. I'm kind of curious as when do you call it that when do you call it that you've manifested something? So for example, I talked about this in the last episode, right? I have when I started this podcast, right, it was just like very much like I had access to my dad's radio station, right? So it was very much just go in, talk, click a button, and then leave, right? But I've always had I would always talk about with Michael when we first started it together, like, damn, like we can do a studio here, we can do this, all that, and like little by little, it started coming, right? Like I started buying this here. I bought this roadcaster so I can record in my house. I bought these cameras to do the video. I would always buy like little pieces of artwork because I had an idea of what I wanted, like the vibe of the studio. The vibe of what I wanted my studio to look like. And I bought it before I even had like a plan of how I was going to get video off the ground. And it's just like now, 2 years later, I'm here in my own studio with all this, with this camera equipment, with this recording equipment, with like sort of a vibe, right? With sort of an artwork that I like. It's very like much like for me, it's like very nerdy man cavey artwork that I have there. But it's sort of like that's kind of like what I envisioned in a way. And it's like, but I still think there's a piece missing where it's like I did manifest this, I put all this work into it, but now I'm waiting. I feel like with manifestation, there's like an element of something that you have zero control over.
Yeah, the fate.
The fate that it's like the universe drops something in your
this is true.
in your path, right?
Yeah, this genuinely
And
happened to
I'm
me.
not there,
Go
and
on.
I'm sorry.
No, you go on. Seriously.
I'm not there yet, and I'm scared. So, and I think that's like so now I'm still putting the work in, right?
Yeah.
But like I'm scared to visualize what the next step might be, just because it's very scary.
The fear is critical, I think.
The fear is critical.
Part of the process.
Right. And that's for like, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. What were you saying when you? Yeah, go ahead.
I think like something I was really thinking about with my job, because for a long time I was pretty unhappy with my job. It took me a year of applying to different jobs to finally get a new job. But after a year, I was like, I'm so frustrated. I'm really done with this job. I'm just gonna quit, and then just open
To make
space,
way.
yeah, open space in my life for something else to come. And I quit. I wanted to quit on a Friday. I had been interviewing for this job. I got the call that I got the job on the Friday, and then I quit on Monday.
God,
But I had
I
already
remember that.
planned to quit
Right.
the job.
For this.
So in some ways, it felt very woo-woo, but I was like, I do think but that was very much a fate thing. But if
Yeah.
you like,
It's mindset, and we don't know the powers our minds truly hold.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I was at dinner last night with two friends, one of whom you know, and who has like manifested her career and also worked, blood, sweat, and tears into her career for the past 5 years. And we've seen like a huge like burst in that regard. Like, and that's a lot of work, but also, in my opinion, a lot of manifesting, because she moved out of her mom's house like for the first time and like continued to start her career, moved to New York City, like really made it work.
yeah,
Remember
you
dinner
have
with?
to take the jump.
Yeah, you have to leap, I think.
Yeah.
So they say. And that's what I've seen from people, like you said, like making space. And then the woman we were having dinner with was talking about like she started a new relationship with someone, and she prior to that had like had made a whole list of like what is she looking for in a partner, like what is that she really wants. And she was like, and for the first time I really felt ready. I felt like I was ready to enter a relationship. And then the woo-woo of that is that I heard, they were telling me this story, obviously wasn't there. She was at a party when she met this person that would become her partner, and they were talking, and they're from the same country, but we're in a different country. And he was like, I'm starting a production company, and this is what I want to name it. And it was her name. And it's a very, very unique name. Like, I've never heard the name before. And like, and they went away
Hillary.
from each other. Yeah, it was Hilaria.
In the man she was speaking to.
Go ahead. I feel
Was
like
Alec Baldwin.
I think the Alec Baldwin stuff was like in the episode that
shit, it
part.
was.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean continue.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
mean
go
that's
ahead.
kind of the story that just like I think I hear stories about manifestation that make me believe, but I've not been able to quite
I think
manifest
you're
for
lying to
myself.
yourself because you work a 4-day work week.
I did manifest that. That's true.
Now think about stuff that you may have like what comes in like so there's another aspect of manifestation. It's like 'cause I feel like you can do it without being aware of it, right?
Yeah.
With your actions. It's like think
I'm
of where you
never
are
aware of it.
today. It's like do you feel like looking back on the decisions you've made, good or bad, whatever it may be, it's just like this is
Well, I will say.
and you didn't think you would end up here. I didn't think I would end up where I'm at, right? Because I went to Bentley University with a business degree, and I thought I was gonna fucking go to New York and fucking take the city by storm and this, that, and the third. And now I'm in the process of applying to getting into the master's program for education at Rhode Island College, right?
Let's fucking go,
Long
baby.
one.
But like I'm thinking of like what in life like what is this something that I've low-key always like kind of manifested without,
It's like, what do
being
you know?
aware
What
of
do you
wh-
not
yeah.
know?
which is interesting. Because I think about it now, it's just like I've worked in a school or educator child care capacity since I graduated 8th grade.
Is she much to say that's also something that you kind of inherited a little bit?
I inherited how?
Well, because your mom worked at the school.
Yeah, but like she doesn't
She
work.
was
She doesn't
working
work
like
with
admin.
kids. She doesn't work
but-
with kids.
But I mean, like,
And
that was kind of
I
a
resent her
gateway.
for the fact that she tries to
Oh.
sometimes
Take credit.
We touched a nerve.
I resent the
touched
fact
a
that she
nerve.
tries to be like, oh, it's not that bad, all this shit, blah blah blah, because she just recently started to like
to work with the kids.
to like in the morning for like early
Yeah.
drop off, and I'm just like, you are sitting in a castle office by yourself.
you are in the castle.
You're not in the trenches like me, okay? I don't want to hear shit from you, okay? I'm sorry. I love you, but I'm sorry. Like I resent that, so I don't want any, But I know I don't think. I mean, my aunt is she's an educator. She works in like kind of special education. I think she works with deaf students in Providence Public Schools.
It's a very noble calling.
But that's really the only other educator in my family.
But you kind of, it was fate.
I feel
Sure.
like you're just trying to figure out how to like fit the puzzle pieces together, like your brain, your interests, what you're good at.
How you want your
Uh-huh.
life to look outside of work.
totally.
Right.
You just have to put all the pieces together, and it just takes a long time.
I think that was a big thing for me was like what I like. I don't want my job to be who I am. I don't need it to be everything. And I do love my job a lot, but it was more like, what can my job be, and who is it going to allow me to be outside of my job?
Right. That's a scary thing too. Like I don't when your job or your career becomes your identity, like I'm very scared of that. Like that's
yeah.
another that's another reason why I love doing this. Because this is something outside of like whatever it may or may not turn into in the future. Like this is something that I know that I will always be doing regardless of what it turns into.
And we're both in childcare, so I think about
Right.
this a lot. Like maybe we'll do something else one day.
Sure.
But what we've learned from our jobs is truly invaluable if we ever
Mhm.
want to be parents or just in life. Like
Right.
working with kids, and I don't want to be a fucking sap, but like working with kids will fucking change you. Like
Yeah.
no matter who the kids are, no matter what their particular needs are,
Mm-hmm.
it is a way to grow. And selfishly, like it's really good for you. It's really
Yeah.
good for the person that does it.
I know. I'm so jealous that you see a kid on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's in a
Genuine?
really bad mood though.
Yeah, the grass is always greener for sure.
No, I'm super, super grateful for my job, and like I'm super happy day to day. Like I'm so grateful. And I used to be someone that didn't want to have kids. I don't know if you guys remember that phase.
Oh yeah, I
but
do.
I said I
Yeah.
did not want kids. I want to
She
be
said
on
she
the
was not
beach.
gonna change
Ever,
her mind.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna change my mind. And this
She
is
wanted
why
to be at you wanted to be at Jimmy Buffett's retirement community.
well, I
By
still want to
yourself.
be at
You
Jimmy
want-
Buffett's retirement community, but I want all my kids to visit.
You wanted to live in Margaritaville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wasted away.
Yeah.
wasted away in Margaritaville. God
It's
bless
funny.
them.
Now I'm at a point with that in my love life
Oh God, lest we go there.
Yeah, I mean, you can go there as much as you want. I don't know. It's ever like since I mean like I've talked about my past. I've only been in one serious relationship. I talked about it on the show, and it wasn't a pretty. It didn't end pretty.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of something I just me as a social being. Partly is COVID, partly was just like a big blow to my self-esteem.
COVID's the elephant in the room at all times with anything we talk about. 'Cause
Right.
It is such a changing thing.
Of course.
We won't dwell.
It's funny, but it's just like I'm trying to like get out of my own head socially, especially in those spaces, like trying to get, like really start dating again and stuff like that, right?
What are you doing to start dating again?
I've been on the apps,
Yeah, me too.
and I've always been very against. I do it just to try.
You don't really have a choice, kind of.
Yeah, you really don't
No,
at this
it's
point.
like the way the world operates now. What apps
Yeah.
are you on?
Just Hinge,
Yeah, me too.
just Hinge.
Pretty much just Hinge. I'm on Tinder a little bit, but it's so oversaturated. It's like you kind of can't, like you just swipe through. There's so many people. I don't know. Hinge is that way too, but at least you get like the questions. I don't know. I've like not gone to a single
Hinge
date
in
from
Providence is tough.
it. Is it more tough?
I had to boost the radius, like pretty big,
Oh, interesting.
because it's just smaller.
Do you have to pay for that? Do you pay for Hinge?
No.
Because I've thought about paying for Hinge.
I paid for Tinder once, like a year ago.
Yeah,
for like
me
a
too.
month, for like a Tinder Gold, just to see what it would be
Always having
like.
Deals.
It only makes me more sad though
Yeah,
to see who's
but-
liking me.
but it's funny because I had because there would be like people that I was like just interested in and like talking to, that like I liked, and I felt like whatever they liked me, but it always fell through, and it was I got in a very frustrated space.
Yeah, because it's like
In
you
my love
can't
life.
meet up with someone.
Right, and not
For a
even
drink or
not even
whatever.
not meeting up with someone. This is like more recent. Like this is post COVID, right?
Okay, yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like
What do you mean?
closing the. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
there's been
yeah.
times where I text someone or like on Hinge or like they're messaging me and then we'll be like, okay, let's get a drink, and then like for whatever reason it just never happens, and it's
Right.
like this is why these apps are the devil.
Right, exactly. And like I like to the point where I almost felt like cursed. And I was like, damn, I can't even like I can't even get a fucking
I too
a
feel
date
cursed.
out of so and so, or like I can't even get you to like to come out with like I know whatever it is, right? And there was this one girl who I was like recently talking to. And
And what happened?
and like whatever, she made it it seemed like she was really into me, right?
mm-hmm.
And she had like kind of just gotten out of a relationship too, and like I've
Yeah.
known her for a while.
Oh, so you
I'm like
knew
narrowing
her.
it down. There's some people listening to this episode right now, like, oh my god,
Well, I don't know
this
who
is.
she is.
I know you don't know who she is, but I feel like she was like it seemed like she was very like more like very into me, right?
Yeah.
We talked on the phone a couple times. And then like she just kind of like it kind of went she started falling flat, like, and it was I was in a position because I've been kind of like I've known her for a while, we've kind of liked each other for a while, but the timing was never right. But I was finally I think we were both in a position to put energy into it, and I was definitely
Yeah.
ready to put some energy into it, right?
Put your money where your mouth is.
And then but then like slowly she just kind of started like just low key, just not
She
giving
faded away.
not reciprocating energy, and like
Yeah.
I would try to reach out. Oh, I'm too busy. Blah
I think
blah
so
blah.
much
Right?
of this shit with people
And then,
too
like-
is timing. I think it really is true, and it's no comfort, but I think it's like. Time
So
is
I gave the
everything.
benefit of the doubt. I was like, she's definitely like, we don't live in Providence together, so that's one
Yeah.
thing. She's definitely dating other men. Like, that's cool. She's probably going through her own shit. That's fine. And that's what I
Yeah.
figured, because there was one time where like she kind of re-showed some interest. Right? I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like I'll just leave.
We'll
Like
leave it
she's
at
going,
that.
she's going through her whatever. And then and then she posts on her Instagram like with her ex, like she's like back with her like ex, right?
Well, see, like women are
And then,
bound
like,
to do
and in
that.
that moment,
and
I
I say
was
that
just
as a woman.
In that moment, I was like, I had like a fit of rage for like 5 seconds. Now, no, let me
no,
reel it
I
in.
get it.
Let me reel it in. This is not. It wasn't even necessarily towards her.
Just the situation.
Just a situation. Like I'm finding myself
And
here
like,
again.
why, God?
Like what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And not 2 minutes later, I get a text from this girl that I was talking to, that I had matched with on one of these apps, and we were gonna go out, and then like she like It felt that she couldn't make that time because she had plans with her friends and boss, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, literally 2 minutes later, I got a random text from her. She was like, oh, my plans fell through.
Okay.
My friend in Boston, do you want to still hang out
Do you
tomorrow?
wanna hang?
So I was like, yeah. And, like, it's wild because, yeah. And we've been, like, I saw her. We've been talking.
So now
We've
you're
been,
chilling.
chill, but like going back to the manifestation thing,
Yeah.
I guess it's just like that.
Well,
it was like
manifestation
it was a
has
very
never
wild moment. I was like,
worked
damn,
for
and
love.
I kind of
I think it applies a lot with like.
it's like a very
Love.
casual thing right now
Do
still,
you?
but like
Because I can't make it work.
Alex is listen. What's your perspective? Alex has been in a relationship for 10 years.
Yeah,
now.
Alex actually
Alex is
met
married.
the love of her life when
Alex
she
is
was
married.
I've been
18
quiet.
years
Yeah.
old.
I've been
So
quiet. I've been quiet over here because my opinion means nothing.
no, that's not true.
no,
Alex.
no.
But I think
Hold on.
it's-
Look at that camera real quick. Okay, I'm gonna need that for the thumbnail for YouTube.
No, not
Okay.
that one.
Well, just whenever you get a chance.
I
It was
think
more for
it's-
Alex because Alex has a little bit torn towards. I probably should move the camera, but at this point, we're
Yeah,
gonna let
what's
it
done
rock.
is done.
What's done is done.
I think like a lot of that is also like opening up your life, yourself and your life to love and
Sure.
and being like open about it, which I think is really, 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 really hard if you're on the apps. And
I think
having
I
such a
just
hard
have
time.
too much love in my life already, and there's not enough room
Uh-oh.
for any more.
Oh shit.
Because I have the two of you. amongst others.
Ah, I love that. That's great.
I think it's true. I think I have too much like beautiful platonic love, and there's no room for any more other kinds of love.
Okay. All right,
That's
we'll
my
roll with that.
theory.
We'll
That's
roll with
beautiful,
that.
Erin.
Maybe
I'm
just
I'm
'cause, like,
tearing up.
Yeah, I use that anecdote I just told, like that little story I just told, more because like it is something that I've been like.
So are you
It's
still
tough. It's
seeing-
tough admitting because it's like as a guy, like you don't want to come off as like super, or as anybody really, but like a guy,
Yeah.
like guys, especially guys, I feel like you don't want to come off as like super thirsty, right?
I think we all
No.
don't. But
We
We all
yeah.
don't,
But
but like
yeah, but I
think
get what you're saying. I see what
feel
you're
like it's like it
saying.
looks worse on a guy. I guess you
For
know.
sure. Oh, it looks so bad on a guy.
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. Alex, yeah, it looks fucking.
It's
You look
really
like a
bad.
fucking
Well,
idiot.
you're just like you're gonna cheat on me.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
Where does the thirst end? Can you ever quench it?
Yeah. So like, but I will admit that it's been like, like, so like, actually taking my love life more serious is something that I've been putting an effort into, and then the way that thing just played out, where just like there was this, this girl that I liked that like, and then the way that fell through. And I was mad because I would have been happier for it to just be a transparent thing if we just talked one day and she's
To
like,
just
this is
say,
where
yeah.
I'm at.
That's what I was
Actually.
thinking when
No
you were
one wants
saying
to
it.
be left like high and dry.
Right. And then like just to get that text like 3 minutes after just having like almost a fit of fucking rage, like my fucking saw red.
I've
for, like,
really
3
been
seconds.
there.
One door closes, another opens.
Yeah,
God
I don't know. That was
closes
very
the door,
interesting.
but he
I actually told my
opens the
therapist
window.
that story. She was like, "That is fun." She's big. I've had conversations about like, man, all this shit. She's big on this stuff,
Wow,
like
that's
law of attraction and
great.
stuff
You
like
should have
that.
her on.
She
my
has
God,
her
can
own
you imagine?
podcast.
Oh, really?
I'm not gonna plug it.
Don't plug it, but we'll get that after
But she
the
does,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think so much of this is me being drunk now, but so much of the like negative energy is like
Did
self-fulfilling.
we finish this one too already?
I think she's gone.
We did.
Do we have any more?
We don't. I thought I was thinking I was like two might be
But
too
do we
much.
have a
That's
beer
like,
in the fridge?
if I buy 3, that's like a bottle a person. But like I could totally go for another one.
Maybe
right
we
now.
should
No,
see-
it's really a bottle of person.
I'll put my
Yeah.
mic down and see if I can find us a beer in the fridge to just as Susan to end our evenings.
Yes.
Connor's ginger beer is there. Is he like? Is that still fermenting, or is that off? Is that off? Is that off the table?
Erin?
Is that off the table?
Look, I love the ginger beer. I just don't think I want it right now.
Okay, all right.
Let's
That's
scoop it
fine.
up.
That's fine. Alex, you were definitely saying something just now.
Yeah, I think just the negative energy is so self-fulfilling. Like when you feel anxious, you create more anxiety because you're. I would like the hoppy refresher. I think negative energy is very self-fulfilling,
Mm.
where you are like self-perpetuating. Said that word like 8 times. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
But I think
This is
I
your
think-
house too.
I think
So
the
those are your
positive-
beers too.
I think the positive energy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If I have
Go
to say positive energy, negative energy one more time, I swear to God.
ahead.
I don't even know what I was saying. I think. Well, I think manifestation. If you're feeling positive, if you're feeling open, if you're feeling good about yourself, love is obviously gonna come to you more quickly than if you're feeling anxious and bad. And in that way, it's self-fulfilling. And I think if you're feeling anxious at a party, you're creating more anxious moments for yourself, and then you feel more anxious, and then you create more anxious. Like it just a cycle, and it works for negativity and positivity.
Yeah.
And then if you're in that positive zone, I think love is more likely to come to you, which is maybe sort of a manifestation.
Yeah.
If you're feeling hot and sexy, then you might get love.
I got some question for you guys.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, Connor just texted me. He wants to know if he can come back.
Yeah, you can come back.
Let me see.
I'm
He said,
excited
"What's
for the
good?"
questions. He can come back, but not while we're answering our questions.
I'll tell him. Well, he's
It's gonna
probably
take him a second.
yeah, it's gonna take him
Yeah.
a minute. Should I tell him we're still recording, but you're good to come
So
back?
Yeah.
we only have like 10 minutes left.
All right.
Well, I'm like sad it's over. I love
Me too, but
talking
we
so
just
much.
We'll see where maybe these questions can just veer us off into another path. We don't
It's
know.
possible.
It's possible.
And maybe the people, the listeners, they will clamor for our return.
It
and,
is Halloween.
and we'll
now,
have
and I feel like we
to
have to start
oblige
getting
them.
I said still
Yeah, what
recording,
time is
wrapping
it?
up soon though.
5:20.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to go home and get ready.
And we only have so much daylight left too. I mean, it looks good right now, but
Well, we don't have to be there till like 10, right?
Yeah, but we should get a move on it. Jeremy, ask your question.
what are you guys doing for? We'll figure.
Well,
that out
we'll
later.
talk.
What is
We're
that?
we're going to a party night for Halloween, and I have a pretty complex costume that needs to. Oh my
Oh, Connor
God,
said he's grabbing food for the squad. Let's go.
Papa.
All right, question. Sorry. All right, some of
I'm
these
so
might be
sorry
light.
about
Some
my
of these
laughs.
might be a little bit more, not heavy, but just a little more thought. So just to start it
Ready.
off, and also when I say with these questions, when I ask guests, you can if you would like.
Are these questions
You
that
can-
you ask all your guests or just us?
I asked them to all my. The only
Okay,
one
I
I
like
didn't
that.
ask him to was Michael because he was my co-host.
Yeah, I
At
like
one
this.
point,
I
so,
like
like,
this.
You can also throw these questions back at me as well.
Okay, cool.
If you want to.
If we're feeling
Mm.
combative.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
First question. What was the last book you read?
The last book I read was My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, and I'm on the second one now, and it's juicy AF.
The girlies love Elena Ferrante.
I know, I feel a
Okay.
little bit cheesy getting into it, but
Is that like a little lusty novel, or is that like what is that?
It's about these two women who live in a town outside of Naples in Italy, and they're just best friends, and it's about just like the complexities of a female friendship and how much you can like love someone while feeling like jealous and
Hating them too.
yeah,
as
Like,
as a
and
female friendship
like
does.
feeling better than them also, but also feeling like they're the best
this the,
person in the
girl-
world.
Is this
Yeah.
is this the woman can never get along narrative?
It's the women can always get along, but it's complicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
It's female friendship.
There's
Sure.
no one like your bestie.
Okay.
But it's like the bestie because I feel
It's the bestie.
it's
bestie.
it's a certain kind of bestie.
Yeah, no, there's periods of time where they don't even talk. But
So I
she's
feel like you're one of my besties, but Caroline's my beautiful friend.
yeah, probably, probably.
Erin, what was the last
Good
book
for
you
you.
read?
The last book I read was Just by Looking at Him by Ryan O'Connell. I actually I always edge myself with books when I do read them in this way where I think I have 3 pages left. But the last time I opened it was in August. So I've got to finish it. But it's about it's modern, set in the modern times. A man living in LA. He's gay. He has cerebral palsy. And
Keep
he's
going.
gonna try to blow his life up by seeing sex workers, even though he's in a loving, committed relationship, and forming a inappropriately but not sexually intimate relationship with his boss.
Is it a memoir?
It is, I would say, autofiction, because you know Ryan. I know Ryan, not personally, but Ryan is the host of one of our first favorite podcasts, Babe Podcast, now defunct.
Check it out for sure.
Definitely, if you're a girly, check it out, or a gay, check it out, or if you're a man who wants to learn some things, check it out.
Almost a tragic ending to this episode because when we had
Oh
our
my
piss
God.
break,
Oh
I
my
was gonna
God.
put the computer to charge and I just didn't.
Jeremy.
So it didn't die. It didn't die, but it was close to dying. So
Oh my
Jeremy's
god.
tried to end our friendship like a few times today.
He's keeping us on the ropes. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, on the
walking on a tightrope.
I feel like one
All
of
right.
the similarities we have as friends is that we cry a lot.
You and me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that brings me to the next question then. When was the last time you cried?
The last time I cried was on Wednesday when I went to see the extraordinary Kevin Morby at Webster Hall with my brother
Oh yeah, I saw that you literally said that on your Instagram story.
and our
yeah.
dear friend Trevor. And I was pretty drunk, obviously, but I was crying a lot, and to the point where I woke up the next morning and I was like, that was a lot of crying. I wasn't just like, I was like,
Sure.
It was really, I needed it though. My grandpa died on Monday, so I
Oh.
get to have that. Okay.
I didn't know that. Damn.
No, it's okay. He was really old, and
Was it a more of like a
way you
celebratory
keep-
life? Like he lived a long, good life.
He was actually, I actually would like to do a little shout out to my Gampy. He was my step grandfather. He was not my blood, which is why he was so excellent. And he was the best grandpa ever.
Mm.
And he was in his 90s, and he was like such a Renaissance man. He built his own planes, flew his own planes,
Wow.
was a sailor, was an artist, painted watercolor. He was everything. They don't make him like that anymore. And he was in his 90s, had a beautiful life, and drove. When I saw him in June, he was still driving,
Mm.
and mercifully went pretty quick. And I think that's how he would have wanted it. And
Alright,
it's not
shout out
that
to
sad a
Gampy.
thing. Shout out to Gampy.
Gampy for life.
Alex, when was the last time you shed some tears?
It was so funny. I was having a conversation with Sarah last week about happy crying.
Shout out to Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah. We were having a conversation about happy crying, and I was like, I don't know if it's necessarily happy or just emotion, but I do cry a lot in sort of touching moments.
You can't always pinpoint it as happy or sad.
It's not really happy. It's more of just like emotion.
Just a
Life.
wave of emotion.
wave
Like
of
it was a
emotion.
wave of emotion.
When I was in the salon today, there was this dad and their child came in, and their child was definitely, I think they were non-binary. But the dad like introduced their child and said like they're gonna get a haircut, and the hairdresser was just so insanely nice to this young person.
Says kiddo.
This kiddo just like asking for consent of everything, 'cause the kid just seemed very like sensitive, and I was just like, this is such a safe place.
Yeah.
People can come and get their hair cut and just feel good, and I teared up a little bit. My last like big cry, I don't know. I've been crying.
Doesn't have
so
to be a
much
big
lately.
cry, just like a
Yeah,
cry,
that
just a
was
cry.
probably the most
We're
recent.
pretty big criers. We like to keep it flowing.
Yeah.
I think it's really healthy. Like if I haven't cried in too long, I'll kind of seek it out, 'cause I think it's good to just kind of clear the pipes.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely more of a revealing question for men. Last
Yeah.
time I cried.
Yeah, let's hear the last time you fucking cried. I hope
Last
it's
time
recent.
I have like it was recent actually.
Good.
And it wasn't anywhere near as touching as your stories. I cried watching season 4 of Stranger Things.
Okay, that made me cry
but
a
not the
lot.
ending, not the ending of it. Like literally just like
Which
episode
parts?
two different
Okay, like
parts.
same. Like I cried
Like
through
in
the whole
episode
season.
2 and like episode 4.
Yeah.
So like
Wait, say which parts?
so for some reason, like, and I don't know where. I honestly don't know where it came from. I like to think that it was. I'll give you this one, and then I'll give you another one. Last time I
Yeah.
cried, that's a little bit more. I guess emotional, personal. Yeah, personal. I had like a really bad stomach bug.
Yeah,
Right when that season, right when season
So
4
were
came out.
You were watching it
So
in the summer, right?
I
Like
was
when
watching
it
it
came
in the
out.
summer.
Yeah.
I remember had like a terrible fever, had been throwing up all night,
Oh my
and
god.
and so the next day, like I was just the throwing up was just that night, but I still had a really bad fever the next day, and I was just like out, like
You got the bug.
I got a
Oh,
bug,
like
right?
a
And but so I just used it as the opportunity to just binge Stranger Things.
It was a good fucking season in
It was
my
a
opinion.
fucking fantastic. That's also if this show ends with this next season,
It might be
that
perfect.
that may be a perfect
Yeah.
ending as well. I can't see them stretching it out any longer than that.
They shouldn't. The kids are getting
Yeah, they
too
should
old.
exactly. yeah, it was like I don't know. I think it was just like the vulnerability of my fever and just like my
Yeah.
state of being.
You were in a
I wa-
vulnerable place.
I was like in a and like I started kind of like almost tearing up when like when like 11 was getting bullied in the bowling alley.
I know.
And she was like crying in the closet. I was like,
It's really
damn.
sad.
And I was like, I was like, what the fuck? I'm like feeling it coming. And I'm just like, what is going on?
What is
with
this?
Me? What is this?
This
And
feeling
then-
I'm having.
And then I actually like shed tears, when Mad Max almost died in season 4 and like they saved her.
Was a mess.
And like she was like running and like she barely got out alive and
I
it was like,
know.
and I was like, oh my god! And like the whole song, that song
I
got
was
super
crying.
viral too.
I know. Well, that
It was just like such a climactic part
Run
of the
up that
show,
hill.
and I was like, damn, this is
The
fucking.
Kate Bush song, you know, the one that
Yeah.
that song was going
It's like,
viral
it's
before
viral
the show
everywhere, like,
started,
everybody's doing
but like the
TikToks
show
with it,
really
yeah.
hammered it.
Let's listen to that.
So that was
That
actually
should be the
was
song
the
that
last
plays.
time I cried.
Well, that was like also what's her boyfriend's name in the show?
She's so
Lucas.
Those two
Sadie?
actors are
Yeah.
really Sadie Sink. They're really fucking good. I love a
Yeah.
good child actor. It's like the
Yeah.
promise of tomorrow really gets you. Like, what
Yeah.
will they do next?
Yeah. And then the last time I actually cried, I have a friend of mine who is unfortunately like he's in prison right now, and he's been there for a while, and it was
I'm
around
really
the
sorry to
holiday
hear
time.
that.
It's been like a year and change, and I had a really vivid dream about him, and I won't go into details about the dream, but it was like
Felt really real.
it felt like I don't know. What I will say about the dream is just like the way we were interacting. He just felt a lot of regret, and like, just like sad about the situation in a lot of different ways, and like I like felt that through him in my dream, and when I woke up, I was like a little like kind of I was like, damn, this is wild, and I remember I got up to go pee, and I come back to bed, and then like I just start like kind of crying. And I was like, this is wild. So that was like the last time, like that was like a personal cry.
That one really breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Is he in Rhode Island?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's in for, and I obviously won't ask. But I just think
I could.
Well, you can tell us now
Like
if
afterwards,
you want.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
we can. Well, obviously we'll talk about it later. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask on pod, but
Right.
but I don't know. I think jail is so final. It's really, really, or prison. Prison
Yeah.
is so final, and it's very, very, very sad.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while. It's cool, actually. Not that, but like the way you could come. Like I think it's mostly because of COVID, but like they have access to like iPads and phones.
Yeah.
Like, I can text them right now. They're like it's like 25 cents a
Oh, that's
message.
great.
That's really fantastic.
And like he's pretty responsive too. I actually haven't hit him up in a minute. I should hit him up soon. But like
You
it's
will.
actually really easy to like like you can FaceTime him too.
Oh, that's great.
You can't send videos, but you can send pictures.
I think for like if you probably minimum security, you can.
Yeah.
But that's
So yeah, that's the last time I cried.
that's a lot.
Next
That's a
question.
lot, my love. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
It's a lot.
What's the next
Share-
question?
A resolution. So I actually made these questions for when this year started. I started this with when I had Manny on the show earlier this year. Shout out to Manny.
Big shouts
so
to
a
Manny.
resolution you had for 2022, but now we're at the tail end of 22. So if you had either resolution or goal you had for the year and kind of where you're at with it right now.
Mine's so cheesy. Mine's just always health and moderation, which I'm still just very much working on.
The long game.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't drink for the past week. I tweeted.
Oh yeah, you did. Big shouts to you not drinking.
Here's what I
Big
learned
shout
in
out
my
to the
week of
frat
not
brother.
drinking.
Yeah.
I visited the island of sobriety. And how was it?
It's pretty lovely over there. It's such a double-edged sword. Drinking is like one of the most fun thing, and staying up until like 6 a.m. is one of the most fun things in my life.
Rewarding.
But it's the good old moderation I'm trying to get a handle of.
Yeah.
Balancing that fun with the fun I have in my sober day life, and then the depression I get on Monday and Tuesday that's getting worse and worse and worse.
With age, yeah.
And, like rendering me useless on Monday and Tuesday. One weird thing was that I didn't feel too much more awake, which it was a week, so maybe that's more of a long-term thing, but I'm just so sleepy when I drink. But I think an important realization is that you're just like, you feel pretty much the same. You don't get sort of lubed up, but you are just still the same person. You're still acting the same way, and you're still having like just as much fun. But it really feels like it's not going to happen when you have to say no to the drinking. But it really is the same. That's always a good thing to check in on.
It's tough. I had a grip on that for a while, and I think a lot of it was like my lack of a social life
Totally.
and like my habit. When I fucked up my ankle, I couldn't walk for 5 days, and like so I stayed at my parents' house. I missed a week of work.
Yeah,
And I just got
on your podcast.
and I got absolutely just trashed that week. Like I kind of used it as a vacation. I got drunk every day. I ate a bunch of shitty fast food outside of my mom's cooking. But then I kind of let it seep into like my habit back home. And there were times where it was just like where I would go home. Like I would have a couple glasses of wine at my parents' house when I go for dinner, and then I'm just like, I want to ride this wave.
Yeah.
And I would stop at the liquor store, and I would buy like a little pint of like Hennessy or something, and then I would kill that before I go to bed and have work the next morning. So it was getting it got to some concerning.
And you're drinking that alone at home too.
What? And then I'm home alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like
No, I've been
You
there.
know?
I'm like making martinis
yeah,
at home, baby.
hell yeah.
I mean, I think it's fine and fun, but alcohol is this thing that's like so deeply woven into our society.
Right.
We all know this, and can certainly be a catalyst for fun, but that is like such a blurred line, I think, for all of us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
have fun with it. It can
It's
bring
tough.
you up.
It's
It can
tough.
bring it down.
It's hard
It's
when
tough.
your favorite part of your life is being drunk with your friends at 7 a.m.
Right.
She says 7 a.m. When I see the sun come up, that's when I knew I made a big
little
mistake.
earlier, probably like 4.
I
4
love
is the
day
peak.
drinking though. Like
I love day drinking too.
day drinking is dope.
It's just fun to get a little
Especially
silly.
like right.
I love to be silly.
I love to be silly.
Of course. Especially if you have a good plan,
But I
a
also
good
hate being
structure in the day to
depressed.
make sure that you last the night.
I know. Well, that's what I'm
That's-
wondering
that's-
if we didn't
yeah.
just fuck ourselves right now.
Oh, I know.
Right.
I know.
I thought that
I
too,
know
but I was
fucked
like,
myself. I text
No, but
text
I-
Jeremy in the morning. You're ruining my
we're,
night.
we're,
playing
we're
that.
gonna be fine. We're gonna get some
No,
coffee,
we
some
are.
food in us, all right, and some water. We need some coffee.
We're having a
When
little
we
bit of
go,
coffee.
we get some drugs before we go to the party, and, you know,
Speak for yourself.
Well,
or maybe
That's-
not. I don't know.
We're gonna discuss that off pod.
Yeah, we'll discuss that off pod. Wink, wink.
Nudge,
Anyways.
nudge.
Nudge, nudge. Right. Aaron, what's your resolution for 22 and how's it
stopped
going?
Making New Year's resolutions long ago because I
Do
don't
you
believe
have
in
any
that
any
structure.
goals that you've kind of wanted to, like, anything of recent? It could be a
Well,
recent.
You know what I
thing.
will say? I a little over 2 years ago, I moved from my initial nanny family to a new nanny family, and it was a really, really difficult move for me.
Mhm.
And I wanted to. There's very different families, different kids, and I loved my first family so much, and it was like the most excruciating thing I ever did was leaving them. And I don't know if anyone will get that fully because it's very specific to being a nanny, but I really wanted to like forge a new wonderful relationship with my new family, and I think that this year we all working together really accomplished that, and it
That's
brought
great.
me a lot of joy.
That's
And you maintain
beautiful.
the relationship with the old family too.
Yeah, and I'm also so lucky on Monday is real Halloween, and I get to go trick or treating with
Oh, that's fun.
my-
That must be
my
yeah.
current 2-year-old and 6-month-old. We're gonna go at 3:00 and go trick or treating in Burham Hill, and then I'm gonna go over to the East Village in the evening and go with my big girls at night.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited.
That's good. That's one thing I'm looking at. I can't wait to be able to trick or treat again with Joy. Like, obviously gonna happen when I
Yeah.
have kids.
I know. Well, I was
Like being able to
wait,
do
I
that again is
actually-
gonna be really fun.
I'm like excited to go trick or treating. I'm also like I get to have some candy, like.
Oh
And
my
get to
God.
like eat it with the kids. Like it's so fun, especially like my little kids like have
Mhm.
really never had candy before.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun to do with him for the first
Oh my
time.
gosh, she's gonna be so excited.
Yeah.
I was reliving with my mom that she would let us have one piece of candy a day.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing about that with like parenting with Candy now. I actually have to like brush up on it more now. Like, so the thing with parenting and like childcare now is like Instagram has democratized it in this way where like there's just so much information.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to
About
sort.
Aaron, the
what you
mic, the
should.
mic.
Oh, not holding it
No,
close
it's
enough.
fine. Yeah, you're fine.
I
That,
know
that
where
one
my-
was getting a little loose. So I just
She was
wanted to
getting
bring
a
it back
little
in.
far
But you've been doing,
away.
hey, y'all been doing great.
Let's bring her back. Hold her
Bring her
close.
back.
She's back. Yeah, so excited to eat candy with the 2-year-old.
Yes.
And I'm excited that
That's
me
fun.
and his parents are really locked in right now together and feeling very on the same page and very appreciative of one another, even though we're like vastly different people. For the best, you know, like I'm sure they feel different from me. I'm not shading them by saying we're different. You know, we are just different. And I'm glad we found such a beautiful common ground.
Totally.
So that's something that happened this year that makes me very happy.
That's great.
Thank you. My other New Year's resolution.
Oh, here we go. So you do have one. So you do have one. All right.
No, this was from
No.
years ago, but I like to just bring it up because it really like it'll never stop making me happy is that I fixed my teeth.
Oh,
Because that was my
yes.
New Year's resolution from like
I thought you were perfect
2015.
before, and I think you're perfect now.
yeah, but
It only took like 15 different Invisaligns.
I
Later.
know.
Erin is
She finally did
the
it.
notorious queen of losing her fucking Invisalign all the time.
You did it.
So I'm glad it
You
happened.
did it.
We
It
got there.
happened.
We got to the finish line.
And now I have my retainers and I never for any reason bring them out of the house. If I take a trip, that's fine. I'll be without them. They'll be there when I get back. Because you can't risk it.
There you go.
Can't risk losing them.
There you go. Okay.
Proud of you about all of
Next question.
What is the next question? We're gonna flush each one out. I feel like
If
each
you
one
woke
is-
up tomorrow with $40,000, just
Oh
an
my
extra
God.
$40,000. I say $40,000 because I feel like this question can be. You wake up tomorrow with $10 million. What do you?
Oh my god.
What can't you do with
Yeah.
$10 million? Right?
Yeah.
But $40,000 is a lot of money for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Just to have in one big lump sum.
But
you
it's
wake up
not
tomorrow.
like
But it's not like a life.
so much
It's
money.
not immediately life changing. It could be life changing if you'd use it well, or you could use it however you want. What
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that
what
$40,000?
are you doing, Al?
My answer is so boring. I'm just gonna save it and then hopefully buy a house.
Okay,
That's
That's
a good
fair.
answer.
that's fair.
Yeah. And probably be like a little more loose with like treating my friends and stuff. But
Straight, yeah.
I'd probably try to just save most of it.
Okay, Erin, what about you?
After having the moment of Alex speaking to think about it, and you don't have this, so obviously we wouldn't do this. I would just give it to my my 17-year-old brother so he can go to college without debt if he wants to.
Wow.
But that's because I have a little brother, and I'm sure you would all do the same.
Mm.
But if I didn't have a little brother, I would pay off my debt. I would pay off my other brother's debt, and then I would talk to my parents about paying off their debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, debt.
I
would
think
come
paying off
first.
debt
I'm
would be a
lucky to
big
not
one
All the
for
have
me
debt would
too.
come first.
Yeah.
But 40,000 even that much? Like that only what's that? Like a year at college?
It's a dent. It's a dent for
It's
sure.
it's actually it's.
It's a dent.
I won't. I mean, without revealing how much school debt I have, it's like a majority of it.
Yeah, it's,
Not
it's
all
about
of it.
40,000.
That
It's
comes
about-
first when that 40K hits.
Yeah,
the bank.
but also, so I thought about. I definitely I would pay off my credit card, which isn't that crazy.
Yeah.
And then, so I mean, so if you work for like a nonprofit or in education,
Mm-hmm.
there's a program or whatever it is
I
where
heard about this.
you only have, or you sign up, like you fill out this application. Excuse me. And you only you only have to make like 20 payments. They expect you to make 20 payments, and then everything else is forgiven.
When you work in education.
An education or like a nonprofit or
Nonprofit.
something like
Fucking great news because I feel
Yeah.
like teachers just get treated like the gum on our
Yeah.
shoe in this country.
So you make those 20 payments and you're done. So it's just like I could pay my loans, but I'm about to get 10K shaving off right now,
So what would you use it for?
and then I think like Alex probably some sort of investment.
Invest.
Probably a
Yeah.
house. I would buy a car first and
Yeah.
foremost.
Really?
yes,
You spend on a car?
Because I need my car is old and tired,
Yeah.
so I need one. And I also it's just like it feels not like I drove here when I come to New York. I come in my mom's car. She lets
Yeah.
me borrow it, and it's a newer car. She bought a new Mazda last year,
Shout out
and
to
it's just
Mrs.
like driving. I
Garcia.
drive a lot too, so it's just like driving a nice car. It's like a very
It's a safety issue.
aside from like the flex of it being new and nice and luxury, or whatever.
it's
It's just like
also a safety
it's a
issue.
it's a safety issue, and it just feels nice. You know, driving a nice new car.
Driving to feel good,
So I would
especially
buy
if you're doing
I would
a lot
buy
of
a
it.
car, And then I'll probably save the rest. Maybe buy a house. Probably buy a house.
Yeah. I've kind of given
go
up on
I
owning
would
a home.
before I would go on a vacation. I don't know where.
Oh, baby.
I
We
would-
all need
I
a
would go
family
on a-
vacation.
yeah, I would go on a
soon.
vacation.
Definitely maybe spend a couple thousand
Yeah.
on some sort of vacation for sure.
Another next question. This is a light one. What's
There-
like a song or an artist that you're listening to right now? Like you can't stop listening to right now.
Do you want to go first?
I've been on a girl pool kick.
You're girl pooling?
Who's Girl Pool? What is Girl Pool?
It's just like a band where they
Like the new or the old?
just everything.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So Girlpool is a band that is comprised of two individuals that Alex and I have enjoyed for many years. In the process of us enjoying them, one of those individuals transitioned from female to male or woman to man. And they are dissolving their band after many years. And Alex and I went to one of their farewell shows in New York, and we had a really excellent time.
We did. It was great.
It's kind of like lo-fi, girly shit.
It's like music you can
Okay.
scream to.
Yeah.
which I like.
I feel like that music you can scream to and like lo-fi. I feel like that's the opposite.
And it's very much, you would think,
okay.
but you'd be wrong.
All right.
Well, and it's like driving through the streets when I was a kid. Like it's like,
yeah. That's like I think.
and
every,
you broke my heart.
Yeah. Literally,
Sure.
literally. Every song I realize starts out with like you did something like
To me.
you were sitting in the car when I heard that
Sure.
when I was 17.
Sounds like Olivia Rodrigo or something.
It was like
Yeah, it's like an OG New York
lo-fi
indie
Olivia Rodrigo for
bedroom
sure.
vibe.
I mean, we love Olivia
Like a very underground Olivia Rodrigo.
Yes.
Ish
Sort of,
vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, alright.
I would say Olivia Rodrigo
Ballads.
is music to scream to too.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Olivia. Like,
Yeah.
let's get it straight.
Yeah,
Okay.
Music to scream in your car too, for sure.
Aaron.
Think about like high school boyfriend.
For me right now, it's Alex G's new album, which I initially couldn't listen to because I was too happy.
Yeah. All right, we're back. New battery.
We're
back. We are. This is a resilient podcast.
This is the dregs of the
This is
podcast
the
now.
dregs of the podcast.
Connor, turn the light
helped.
on.
Wow, that light helped immensely.
Oh, I don't know how I
Because
feel
we were
about
losing. We were losing light. We were losing light bad. Connor, how you doing, buddy?
Wrap it up,
How we
How's it
doing?
going? How's it going?
He's back.
Connor, the question at hand is, who is Alex G?
Who is
We might
Alex
need
G?
to call in a professional.
We might have to call in an expert.
Yep.
Phone a friend. Connor?
We're phoning in a friend. And Connor, will you answer the question?
Connor, we're phoning a friend.
What's the question?
Who is Alex G?
You had to
Alex
put
G
the coke in
is a
the
musician.
vaccine.
You know who Alex G is.
Well, I'm asking you, who's Alex G. The question was, who are you
Jeremy
listening to
asked.
right now?
Alex G is a like sort of underground-ish musician, but now he's sort of getting his yeah. But he's
Like a
just
Steve Lacy.
he's like indie.
In the way I feel like Steve Lacy. Well, so no.
He's sort of like Elliott
just-
Smithy, like
So
indie.
I'm not saying his
indie stuff.
vibe. I'm saying that Steve Lacy. I just found out that Steve Lacy was part of the internet, and now he's like being now he's like famous now.
I think he's been famous for a while though, but he like
Steve
really
La-
blew up.
That's-
He really
that's
blew
what I
up
mean.
this
He
past-
just
Does he
blew up
put
with
the
his last
coke in
album.
the vaccine?
I wish I knew you
That's the
wanted
question.
me. All right, Alex
All
G.
yeah, Alex G.
Awesome.
Well, yeah.
All right, give the mic back to my fucking
He's
guest. All right, hurry up.
indie. He's a guy.
Go ahead.
He has a mustache.
He speaks to us.
He sings emotional
code.
songs that are quality, that make you feel and yell.
And they're very
Okay.
minimalist, and then you always, like, every time the song ends, you wish it was still going.
mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
what really gets you, you know?
And he
Mhm.
keeps his private life private, which I think helps his brand.
Yeah, definitely.
Like a Frank
well, I
Ocean?
think he's getting married now. Well, he's worked with Frank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't start.
All right, I think that was my last question.
Jeremy,
let's
this has
wrap
been
up.
All right, we
lovely.
got to wrap it up.
Gotta wrap
This
it
has
up.
been so lovely.
This has been
It's everything I dreamed and more.
yeah. So I didn't want to lead with it, and I mentioned it before we started recording.
Let's hear
I
it.
was actually very nervous about this episode.
We were all nervous.
Partly because I'm still getting my feet wet with having guests.
Yeah.
I've been recording by myself for like the last year.
Which we love.
And my last guest was my previous co-host, so like
Right.
we already had that, you
Michael.
know, like I didn't have to feel nervous. And I mean, the beginning, like I thought was, we were still kind of getting lubed up a little bit. We were figuring it
Well, it
out.
was funny because we jumped in and then we like didn't even think to introduce anyone or
Right,
like,
we kind of exactly. My
which was
introduction,
magical, but
right.
would have been confusing.
and then we had another technical difficulty back-to-back weeks, and we came through that. We
Aaron stayed
triumphed.
positive. Aaron stayed positive.
I'll always stay positive.
we overcame, and it was a fucking great episode, and we had a great conversation. And I don't think I've ever had a
think so,
conversation
too.
like this with you two since maybe you lived in Wickenden.
This gave us
Literally.
the space to really dig in.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that.
And we
'cause
got
you're right.
we got personal on some stuff, nothing crazy, but like, whether it was like our thoughts on Kanye stuff, our love life,
Yeah.
on how we feel about how the fucking universe works and manifestation. And I thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having
And
us.
I would-
I hope
and-
you'll have us again.
and I
It
will-
was
yes.
a good space.
Of
like,
course. How did you guys I'm happy that we got to do this. I'm so happy we got to
I'm
do this.
so
Incredible.
chuffed.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't really had a space like this since Wickeden, which
And intentional.
we spoke about in the
Yeah.
in the first episode. That
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah,
In the
didn't
first-
record.
in the lost
Wait, shit,
episode.
okay, Wickenden was an apartment Alex and I got when we were in our 20s in a college so that we could
We were, like,
drink away
19.
from our parents. And yeah, we were like
20.
19. And it was a summer that Jeremy would just come over all the time and we just had this really golden summer of
We
like
called him Man of the Year.
he was the man of the year. And that was
Yeah.
the what was that? It was the album.
Man
It
of
was
the Year.
Schoolboy.
The Schoolboy
Q.
Q. Yeah, Schoolboy
Yeah.
Q. And we would always sing that song to him because he was
Yeah.
the man of the year. And
It was amazing.
it was a special summer for all of us. And this is really reigniting it for me now.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
hope he'll
my
be
truth.
Man of the Year once again.
The man of the year.
Well, again, thank you guys for
Maybe
coming
that's the song
on.
that should play.
Alex,
us out.
thank you for opening up your space to fucking
Of course.
record here and turn this into like a little makeshift studio. I'm actually looking at it with the new lighting now, and this whole backdrop looks
I
incredible.
know Connor really
It
hit
looks
it
better with the lighting.
lights.
I don't know why I didn't think of just turning on the light earlier because it was a very simple thing. And honestly, it didn't look. It wasn't that. It was just getting dark as you walked in.
Dusk.
But this light looks great, and
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you.
I love you too. Until next time, you dirtbags.
Love you.
Holla.